The first of a doubleheader here in Meserve Field. Back again for Bowling Green softball. Ben Korak here with Henry Costco from the Falcon Media Sports Network. BG takes on Ohio today as they continue to try and climb into a MAC tournament spot. Henry, it's a big series for Bowling Green, a big doubleheader today and a big week for them as well coming into this weekend and 5 games in the MAC.
Yeah, after a great doubleheader last Saturday against Western Michigan where they shut out Western Michigan in both games, 8-0 win and a 4-0 win. The team is in playoff contention right now, 7th seed just outside looking in, and I think you could say maybe this team didn't expect to be where they are right now, but going into this series against OU, which is going to be, again, a really tough schedule for the Falcons leading into the rest of the season.
Yeah, the schedule the rest of the season, Miami, Central Michigan, both top teams in the MAC right now. They play University of Toledo next weekend, which, again, is a rival. Anything can happen in those series, even though Toledo is below them in the standings right now. And then today they have Ohio, who, again, is a top 3 team in the MAC. So they have a tough schedule going forward, currently 7th, right behind Akron and ahead of Western Michigan and UT in battling for that 6th spot and a MAC tournament berth. We'll start with talking about Ohio University and an incredibly impressive softball team in this Ohio University, Henry, and that pitching staff is something very much worth noting.
Yeah, only 3 pitchers for them that have really given them a lot of innings, but they've all been lights out. And I think all it says is Skip Miller, who was an All-MAC first-team member last year, is kind of the 3rd best pitcher for them statistically, analyzed. And the freshman Mickey Leaving has been fantastic for both of them. ERAs under 3, which is 2.19 for Anawise and a 2.31 for Living, which is 1st and 2nd in the MAC, and then Skip Miller just outside the top 10. So all 3 of these pitchers have been just borderline unstoppable all year, and they've carried this team really to where they are now.
Miller's ERA a little bit higher, but she's got almost the most complete games, tied with Anna Wise for that mark. She's got the most wins, got the most innings pitched as well. She's taking a lot of the burden of the pitching staff from Ohio. She's coming off of a little bit of a rocky start against Toledo, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs on 4 home runs. Gave up a lot, but she's a power pitcher, and she's going to be working against the Falcons today. Moving into their offense, I mean, it's an incredibly deep team, this Ohio team. They have 5 players with a plus 300 batting average, almost everybody in the starting lineup above 250. An incredibly impressive offense that this Ohio team has been putting together, and it's going to be on show against Mackenzie Krafchick today at Bowling Green.
Yeah, it's been a quiet offense that's really just been solid, productive, not a lot of power, but just a ton of contact and a lot of batting average for this team. It's an offense that's top 5 in the MAC, and they're led this year by sophomore Brenna Farmer, sophomore from Mount Blanchard, Ohio, attended Riverdale High School. She's on a 4-game hit streak right now, and she had a 216 batting average in 2024. She's completely turned it around and had a breakout year in her sophomore season.
A lot of great players in this Ohio lineup. We'll move over to Bowling Green, talk about their lineup a little bit because, Henry, you were on the call this last weekend against Western Michigan. You saw firsthand some of the lineup changes that we had. We had Scarlett Anderson step in, get the first home run in her collegiate career. Hannah Massaro is back in. Peyton Steffes moves down in the order. Davis and Hutter step out. Cam Kaufman back in. A lot of moves for this Bowling Green team who, up until this coming weekend, was a pretty steady 1 through 9.
Yeah, I mean, the team had a lot of offensive trouble against NIU and then against WMU in Game 1 of that series, so Gardner decided to make some changes, and I think the changes maybe paid off. 12 runs across those 2 games on Saturday, and Scarlett Anderson, you mentioned, got her first career home run. So did shortstop Cameron Kaufman, who's coming off of injury these past couple of weeks and has really boosted this Falcon defense as well.
Yeah, Kaufman's a big one to get back in the order, much for her defensive play, but also for her offensive play. A 270 hitter before she got injured, down just a bit below 250 right now, and a double machine before she got injured. So hopefully she can get back in the offensive category. And then we step into the strongest point from last weekend, and it was the pitching for Bowling Green. Mackenzie Krafchick was one of those. Morgan Beckham, another one that are becoming such reliable arms for Michelle Gardner in the rotation. And there's about 3 or 4 arms that you can throw in every game and be pretty confident in their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see Krafchick today. She had 7 innings pitch on 1 earned run in her outing on Friday, but it's been the freshmen who have really been standing out and been impressive these past couple of weeks. Morgan Beckham earned our Falcon Media Sports Network Athlete of the Week award for 7 and 2/3 scoreless innings across the series against Western Michigan, and then Sydney Marshall, who's dealt with some injuries earlier in the year, has come in these past couple of weeks and thrown some solid outings. She had 5 scoreless against Ball State a couple weeks ago, and then 5 scoreless also against Western Michigan in, I believe it was Game 3 of that series. So all 3 pitchers there really playing well.
Yeah, those two freshmen that you mentioned, Sydney Marshall and Morgan Beckham. So Marshall got a start, seems to be coming off of the bullpen a little bit more. Beckham, I mean, works in both aspects, so unsurprising if we see her in a starting role and a relieving role today. But Krafchick will get a start. She's been very good the last 3 appearances, 18 and a third innings pitched, 5 earned runs on 7 total given up. Does give up a lot of hits, but has an inept ability to work out of trouble. She does that a lot with runners in scoring position with 1 out, no outs, and is somehow able to get her way out. That's a valuable trait in a pitcher for Bowling Green, especially when you're getting runners on with all those hits.
Yeah, I mean, we see kind of 2 different pitching styles across the freshmen compared to Krafchick, because the freshmen Marshall and Beckham like to rely on that velocity and using that high fastball to get a lot of strikeouts and get some weak contact. But Krafchick relies on kind of a slower fastball and kind of more of a location-oriented kind of approach, and it's worked for her this season. ERA going under 4. She's really had an improvement, especially these past couple months, and she's been the leader of this pitching staff, which has been key for the Falcons.
Yeah, it seems like once we got into MAC play, the pitching staff really took a step forward. The offense has taken a little bit of a step back, but we saw a very strong outing against Western Michigan earlier. Well, I guess in this last weekend, we'll walk through the starting lineup for Bowling Green. Taylor Barrett batting first, playing first base. Addie Martin batting second, playing third base. Hannah Hunt batting third, playing second base. Cam Kaufman batting fourth, playing shortstop. Scarlett Anderson at her first home run against Western Michigan is the DH and batting fifth. Ava McKee in the 6th spot and the catcher batting 7th. Kendall Matthews and playing left field. Hannah Massaro batting 8th, playing center, and Peyton Steffes batting 9th and playing right field. I like Peyton Steffes and that 9-hole, Henry, considering how fast she is, how good she is getting on base and turning over the order to the top of the lineup. I really like that. Kind of similar to what we saw with Kendall Matthews earlier this season.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, you look at the bottom of this order, and you're not super impressed just based on averages, but a lot of these players have had some crucial moments, especially in these past weeks. Kendall Matthews had a home run in that big, I believe it was the 4th inning that gave Bowling Green that 8-run win against Western Michigan. Her, Kaufman, Anderson all had home runs in that inning. So, again, Gardner just riding with this lineup that worked out pretty well against Western.
Yeah, it certainly did, especially on the offensive end. Turnover to Ohio, leading off Lauren Uhas, the second baseman, batting second, Cece Kydell, the center fielder, batting third, Brenna Farmer, the first baseman, batting fourth, Emma Hoffner, the catcher, batting fifth, the designated hitter, Maddie Wilcox, batting sixth, Izzy Wilson, the left fielder, batting seventh, Abby Kennelly, playing at shortstop, batting eighth, Shelby Wessler, playing third base, and batting ninth, Belle Hummel, playing right field. Again, a very deep order for Ohio. A lot of players that can really put a whooping on the ball, especially those 1 through 6, Henry. Very strong hitters.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a break in this lineup. The only player that's hitting under 200 in the lineup right now is Izzy Wilson, who was an All-MAC second-team player and an All-MAC tournament team member in 2024, so she can break out at any time. So just a really deep lineup, and Krafchick's going to have her hands full today.
Certainly dangerous. Mackenzie Krafchick in the circle for Bowling Green, and Skip Miller in the circle for Ohio. We'll take a step back for a few moments and bring you back first pitch of Bowling Green softball and their doubleheader against Ohio today. You're listening to BGSU softball on Falcon Radio.
BGSU women's golfer Sammy Dulce is Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. Recently, the sophomore finished second at the Dolores Black Falcon Invitational. She shot a 69 in the final round, the tournament's lowest single round score. Following the match, head coach Aaron Fahey said, "Sammy had a great weekend for us. She always shows up and gives us an under par round when we need it." The Florida Park, New Jersey native jumped up 6 places in the standings after her stellar final round. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Standing up for what's right, helping out when things go wrong, seeking the truth and speaking our minds, not just making records, but breaking them. Leading the way behind the camera, beyond the runway, and on the silver screen. Not just making our mark, but making a difference. Now that's a job for a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts, preparing girls for a lifetime of leadership.
You have the right to know. The right to know about culture. The right to know about the economy. The right to know about technology and to know about sports. You have the right to know about education and politics and the weather. You have the right to know what's happening abroad and in your backyard. But above all else, you have the right to know that this right is under attack, and we must work to protect it. Because in order to be free, we must be informed. Understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Looking for a BG Athletics discussion show? Check out The Swoop, where a rotating cast of Falcon Media Sports Network co-hosts talk everything BGSU athletics. New episodes are available every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel.
When severe weather causes telecom network outages, the FCC recommends that you call 911 only when necessary and limit non-emergency calls. Avoid repetitive redialing to minimize network congestion. Try texting if a call doesn't go through. Conserve cell phone power and turn off your phone when not in use. If evacuated, forward landline calls to your cell phone and use your outgoing message to update your status. For more info, go to fcc.gov/emergency.
Hi, my name's Emma Stransky. I'm a winger for BGSU women's soccer. My 4 favorite animals are ferret, because I have 2 and they're the cutest things ever. Falcon, because we're BG. Fox, because Chris Fox, our coach. And then a flamingo, because I think that they're pretty.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
BGSU softball here in Messer Field. Henry, the wind is really blowing here in Bowling Green today. We've seen some errors spawn from the amount of wind that we've had in Bowling Green as of the last couple of games and through this season as well. It's not the warmest, but the wind is certainly taking that down, and that outfield's going to have trouble tracking the ball, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the wind pretty much every home game here because it's pretty much windy 24/7 in Bowling Green, but this is kind of a different breed here, 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's going to be interesting. We saw 6 errors in Game 2 of the Western Michigan series, and we've seen Kent State have some trouble in their home series here as well in terms of errors, so that's going to be something that maybe could provide a sort of home field advantage for the Falcons considering they're used to, maybe more or less a decent amount of wind. Definitely not used to this amount of wind, but it's going to be interesting for sure.
Quite possibly. The American flag in center field blowing directly to right field with some pretty good pace. I think last time I checked the weather, it was expected 40-mile-an-hour winds here in Bowling Green. Don't know if we've got that high yet, but Ohio will have to battle that on both ends of the ball, and they'll start with Lauren Uhas in the box for the Bobcats. Mackenzie Kraftik, the pitcher for Bowling Green, deals her first to Uhas, and it's a first pitch strike.
Nice one in there. Low in the zone. Uhas, senior out of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, attended West Mifflin High School, having a good year, hitting .339 with an OPS right at 900 with 2 home runs on the year.
The 0-1 pitch from Kraftik, up and away, and Uhas showing bunt there versus Toledo in their last series, 1 for 10, a walk and a stolen base. Not as productive as you'd like to be if you're Lauren Uhas, but still 340 hitter on the season, even after a 1 for 10 last weekend.
Yeah, she's a speedy player, great in that leadoff spot. 16 stolen bases on the year, which is double second place on the team. So really loves to get active there on the base pass.
2-1 now with the ball outside from Kraftik. Uhas, Kydell, and Farmer due up for Ohio. The 2-1 just inside for ball 3. Kravtsik falling behind in the count early in the game to the right-handed batter.
3-1 count, swinging pitch. Always expect to get something in the zone here.
3-1 from Kravtsik. Fouled off by Uhas. Infield for Bowling Green, Martin at third, Kaufman at short, Hunt at second, and Barrett over at first base. That's how we started the year before Cam Kaufman got injured, and now we're back to that infield. And then the outfield is Matthews in left, Massaro in center, and Steffes in right. The full count payoff pitch to Uhas. She fouls it off down the first base line again.
I mean, I know head coach Michelle Gardner was happy to see Cameron Kaufman back there at the shortstop position. They can go back to their kind of original 4 that they have here in this infield that has been pretty successful here in the past week, just in defensive.
Full count, no outs, top of the first inning. The deal from Kravtsik is up and away, and she loses the leadoff batter, puts Uhas on first, and brings up CC Kydell.
Uhas now leads the team in walks with that one. That's her 19th of the year.
High on base percentage as well. 421 leads the Bobcats.
Yeah.
The center fielder, CC Kydell. Very good fielder. Probably the third best hitter on the team and in batting average. Stolen base for Uhas. Cam Kaufman, the diving play to try and knock the ball down. Uhas is going to go from second to third on her stolen base. She's going to get 2 bags off a bad throw by Ava McKee, way wide of the bag.
Yeah, it looked like she maybe rushed it a little bit first thing, then second one. It looked like it was going to be a little right anyway, and then it just curved right to the right of second base and went right into the outfield there. So extra base for Uhas.
A bit of a defensive mishap gives her third base. And now Kydell just has to have some situational hitting, get the ball in the outfield and get the runner in. Although, again, the wind is probably going to play with the ball a little bit, blowing straight in from left center field toward the batter. 0-1 pitch from Kravtsik. Caught the outside for an 0-2 count now.
First error of the game charged on catcher Ava McKee. And that's another thing to watch. Just based on the wind, these throws are going to cause a lot of errors and a lot of maybe unfortunate mishaps for both teams.
Kravtsik, the 0-2, just missed. Low and away, very close pitch. In a good spot, but Kydell let it go. Farmer on deck. Hoffner, the catcher, in the hole with a runner on third base and no outs.
Kydell had a 6-game hit streak, ended in their last series against Toledo, where they lost in 2 of 3 games.
Ground ball up the middle. Kravtsik knocks it down. It's over to Hunt. Hunt flips over to first base hard, and she gets the runner. But the run is going to score anyway, and they trade the out for the run. 1-0 lead, OU, in the top of the first inning. 1 out.
Job well done by Kydell as she earns her 18th RBI of the year. Goal there was just to get the ball in play and try to not hit it to the corner infielders, and she did the job well.
Brenda Farmer now steps into the box for Ohio, the first baseman.
I mentioned the success that she's had this year, 352 average on an 832 OPS, leads the squad in hits with 44, second on the team in RBIs with 30.
Very impressive hitter, above an 820 OPS.
Saw head coach Jenna Hall out there to talk to the home plate umpire. Not sure what was going on there. That's Gavin Ramsey, who's at home plate here today.
Close play at first on that ground ball. Kravtsik made a good play to knock it down as there's ball 1 outside. But Hunt made a good play with that strong arm to get the runner just barely at first base. 1-0 count, 1 out, no runners on for Kravtsik. Just away for ball 2.
Farmer on a 4-game hit streak. Right now, I mentioned she's from Riverdale High School, which is about 30 minutes south of Bowling Green. She has a lot of family and friends here today cheering her on.
And during that 4-game hit streak, 6 for 15, an RBI, 2 runs, 2 doubles. As her check swing, she didn't go around, but it's called strike anyway. A 2-1 count against Toledo this last weekend. 4 for 10, a run, a double, and a walk. So it's getting the hits, not too much production. Batting in the meat of the order. Ground ball down the first baseline, hard but foul. And a 2-2 count.
Farmer going to look to stay alive. Only 1 out this inning, so plenty of time for Bobcats to get another run going. I mentioned in this lineup, not a lot of breaks. All 3 hitters at the top of this lineup hitting above 300.
Hoffner and Wilcox not slouches in their aspects of the game as well. Hoffner above 300. This one lined to second base. Diving Hannah Hunt can't make the play. It's going to be a single for Brenna Farmer. She'll take first base. Brings up the cleanup hitter, Hoffner.
Great contact by Farmer, just barely outside of the glove of Hunt. Reached out, just not quite able to make the play. I think the wind kind of curved it a little bit away from her glove as well.
We can say that on almost every play today, considering how it's howling. Fresh count, fresh batter. Emma Hoffner, the catcher. Maddie Wilcox on deck. Izzy Wilson in the hole. First pitch strike, caught the inside corner.
Catcher Emma Hoffner, senior, a Newstand, Pennsylvania, attended Hempfield Area High School.
Has reached base in 5 of her last 7, and reached base 29 out of 38 games started this season. Very impressive offensive catcher. The next pitch is outside, 1-1.
Yeah, leads the team in RBIs with 39, which is almost 10 more than Farmer, who's in second. Obviously, Mac no stranger to offensive catchers with all the success that Michaela Timms has had for Ball State this year.
1-1 pitch outside. Understandable that you'd want to eat around Emma Hoffner, considering her 4 home runs, which is tied for the lead on the team, her 9 doubles, which is also tied for lead on the team, has the highest slugging percentage. Pretty stereotypical cleanup hitter, and when you add some pretty decent defensive catcher as well. Ground ball to the shortstop. Kaufman knocks it down, but she's not going to get a throw. Good play to keep it out of the outfield, but it's a single nonetheless for Emma Hoffner.
Yeah, man, just to keep Farmer on second base with that diving play, just not enough time to get up and heave it to first. Hoffner no slouch on the base pass.
It's a play that maybe, a week ago, Henry, we would have seen a throw from Addie Martin with the strong arm that she has, but probably a wise decision to hold on to the ball considering how quick Hoffner got down to first base. Addie Wilcox steps up, the designated hitter, and leaves the first pitch low and away.
Wilcox hitting .257 on the air with a .757 OPS and 36 starts.
She is tied with Hoffner for that team lead in home runs. McKee with a very good play to knock the ball down on a low fastball. 2-0 the count now for Krafzik, who's fallen behind and counts early in this game and has got a runner on first and second with 1 out. Got a ground ball, though, on the last at-bat. Tries the inside corner, gets a strike, 2-1.
Pitch location is going to be key for Krafzik. We've seen Ohio is kind of on her when she's leaving pitches in the zone here early on this one. So I just want to see her be able to hit those locations, but you don't want to kind of eat around too much and allow yourself to get up in the count.
2-1, fouled off. You also have to trust that your stuff is good enough to get it by or to get weak contact as well. You can't assume that they're going to pound it every time. One hard hit ball so far. The rest of them have the run scored on a walk and an error throw by Ava McKee, and then the other ones on soft contact. 2-2 pitch with 1 out. Grounded back up to the pitcher, Mackenzie Krafzik. It's knocked over toward third base. Martin will grab it, but that'll load the bases.
That's a tough play. That could have been a free out. Ground ball right to Krafzik, and McKee's going to come in and talk to her with the bases loaded, 1 out. This is a big situation here early on for the Falcons in terms of just keeping OU limited early in this game.
I think it's going to be an error on Mackenzie Krafzik. That's 2 plays already. The one that Hannah Hunt gets the assist for that she could have made a play on, that one as well. Just struggling to execute the player fielding position. Although if you're the Falcons, Izzy Wilson is the one in the lineup that you'd want up in this position with 1 out and with 1 out and the bases loaded, considering only a $175 hitter. Not too much power either.
Yeah, Izzy Wilson, although had a tough year to start the year, All-MAC second team member in 2024. Delaware, Ohio native, that's one common theme of OU Bobcats. They're very heavy on Central Ohio recruitment. Delaware, of course, in the Columbus area.
Only 1 hit in her last 11 games started. 4 walks during that time, so decent on base. Not too much putting it in the outfield. Pitch just left low and away for ball 1. 1-1 to count, 1 out. Again, infield playing in. Understandable that you'd want to get a ground ball if possible, but Izzy Wilson's job, as we probably know, is to put it as deep in the outfield as she can. 1-1, ground ball down the third base line. Addie Martin will throw home, and a good stretch by Ava McKee to get the runner. So they'll prevent the run and get an out. There'll be 2 outs still with the bases loaded, but bring up Abby Kennelly.
That's a big play and a quick play. That one's maybe not as easy as it looks. Thrown home to the catcher is always kind of a tough play because it's not one that you really do super often, but they manage it well, and it's going to be 2 outs now, which is much more manageable with the bases loaded.
Kennelly, Wessler, and Hummel, the bottom 3 of the order, and Kennelly will step up to the plate, the shortstop. First pitch, slap hitting Kennelly leaves it low and away for ball 1.
Kennelly, freshman out of Waterville, Ohio. Had a great year at the plate as well, just as a freshman in 276.
Another pitch, same spot for Kraftsick, and still away. So 2-0. The third time she's fallen behind in the count 2-0 so far.
We're seeing pretty much all these OU hitters getting up in the count. They're kind of sitting off of these early pitches, waiting for their own.
The 2-0 right in the zone for strike 1. Back up to a 50-50 count. The infield for Bowling Green still playing in with 2 outs. Somewhat surprising, although they've had weak contact. They had 3 ground balls so far. A sacrifice hit, an error. And then that last one, that was a fielder's choice. Here's a strike on the outside, 2-2.
Yeah, you can see Kenley is just going for that contact approach, kind of doing that little sort of running motion. Sort of a running bunt, I guess you could kind of say.
Yeah.
So they're kind of aware of that.
She swings and misses. Strikeout for Mackenzie Kraftsick to end the inning. Ohio gets 1 run and a good job of damage control for Kraftsick as we turn over to the Bowling Green Bats in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0. Ohio leads on Falcon Radio.
The Western Scrub Jay. I was taking my science class on a virtual reality bird watching expedition. All of a sudden, Charlie Kane shouts, "Arr! Arr!" He had spotted the elusive black swift, a bird rarely seen in the wild. For a brief moment, Charlie had not the eyes of a 9-year-old boy. He had the eyes of an eagle.
Teachers just have better work stories. Find out how creative teaching can be at teachdfw.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU student media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to Messer Field. Bowling Green softball stranded 3 runners in the top of the first inning. A 1-0 lead for Ohio. They scored on a throwing error by Ava McKee and then a ground ball sacrifice hit by the second batter. Ben Kroik here with Henry Costco from the Falcon Media Sports Network, and we are beginning the batting order for Bowling Green with Taylor Barrett, Addie Martin, and Hannah Hunt. A very strong 1-2-3 punch for BG.
Yeah, we saw in Game 3 against Western, it was pretty much all Addie Martin and Hannah Hunt, 3 hits each. That was 6 out of 8 hits for the entire team earned by those 2 players, and all 4 RBIs earned by them as well.
But then again, in the first game, in that series, you know this, Henry, you were on the call, is there was 1 hit for every player besides Addie Martin, so spread it out through the order in one game, and then in the next game, pretty top-heavy. Yeah. First pitch up and away from Skip Miller, the pitcher for Ohio. Very comparable pitcher, I'd say, Henry, to Ella Whitney of Ball State, who Bowling Green struggled against in their series against the Cardinals earlier in the season.
Yeah, Skip Miller may be one of the most accomplished MAC pitchers who's still pitching, 2 times All-MAC first-team member, made the All-MAC freshman team as well. So just an outstanding player all around.
1-1 as she puts a fastball over the plate. Led Ohio in the last 2 seasons in appearances, games started, wins, complete games, shutouts, innings pitched, and strikeouts. That's over the last 2 seasons. Impressive stat line for her. She leaves low and away. 2-1 the count.
You can see that velocity that she's bringing right now. So
yeah.
Definitely way more than you see from Kraftschick. Probably more than you see from either of those fast-throwing freshmen that the Falcons have.
Another cut fastball landed on the inside, and a 2-2 count to Taylor Barrett. Barrett, one of the higher on-base percentages on the team, actually the leader before last weekend, and then has fallen back a little bit. Still above 500. The 2-2, up and away. Tried an off-speed but missed.
Barrett 2 hits in the Western Michigan series, was hitless in 8 at-bats against NIU, and was hitless in the 3 games before that as well, so she's had a rough go as of late.
The walks have seemed to dry up for her as well. As here's the payoff pitch from Miller, and it's fouled down to the first baseline foul.
This is going to be the key for these Falcons, is just work these at-bats, try to get Miller to throw as many of these pitches and these innings as you can. With full counts comes great opportunity for more offense. So I think that's a big key for them.
Especially since you're not going to be able to have too much power success considering the wind. Maybe try and keep it out of the air if possible. Here's one line over to second base, and it will not be playable for the second baseman, Uhas. Very tough play as it knuckled its way down the first base line, around the first baseman, and then spun wide of the second baseman.
Barron just managed to poke that one in the infield. That's what happens when you just manage to put the ball in play in conditions like this. It can lead to good things.
It's going to be ruled as a single, which I think is the correct appropriation of that hit, although not the hardest hit ball.
Yeah,
but she could have put a little bit better of a swing on it.
Farmer just didn't manage to reach out of it. I think it would have been better for her to maybe stay on first as opposed to going towards that. But, I mean, it's hard to tell. It was kind of right in between the two players, so it's hard to tell in situations like that.
You always want the fielders to be aggressive toward the ball if possible to get try and go get the ball and not play conservative. 1-0 count to Addie Martin. She takes a big swing and fouls it back above the press box, 1-1.
Addie Martin hitting over 360 now on the year, one of the best offensive players in the MAC in terms of power categories, 12 home runs on the year, 746 slug, which is best on the team by almost 250 points.
Yeah, third in OPS with a 1,100. Impressive mark for her. 2-1. The count. No outs. Runner on first base. Taylor Barrett. Hannah Hunt on deck. Cam Kaufman in the hole. Skip Miller steps back. Now winds and deals. Swing and a miss for Addie Martin. And a 2-2 count now on a beautiful changeup that just switched up the timing of the Falcon third baseman.
Yeah, it's a tough off speed, and it works really well with that high velocity. That's what you get with these high-level Division I pitchers, is that wicked off speed with the high velocity, and it's a tough combination for hitters to approach.
2-2 from Miller. Off speed away and left away for ball 3 and a full count. Second full count in a row for Miller. Again, we mentioned in the pregame she struggled in her last outing against Toledo. 5 1/3 she pitched with 7 earned runs and 4 home runs given up. Here's the payoff pitch. Oh, and she caught the inside corner. Strike 3 on Addie Martin. Got her looking. A very good pitch. Perfectly placed from Skip Miller.
Yeah, I don't think Martin really expected the inside fastball coming in. Kind of got froze on that one, but a great placement by Miller for a strikeout of the game.
So Hannah Hunt will step into the box. Another righty for the Falcons with Cam Kaufman on deck. Now 1 out, runner on first base. First pitch, knee high for strike 1.
And Hunt leads the Falcons in average, tied with Martin in hits as well. 46 hits on the year, 27 RBIs.
Also riding a 7-game hit streak from April 1st on. Line drive to the shortstop and unhandleable for Kennelly. And he'll get through. Barrett will advance to second, and Hunt will take first base on a 1-out single.
Good attempt by Kennelly, just a little too late on the dive, and great contact by Hunt. So it's going to be 2 on, 1 out. Good opportunity for Kaufman, cleanup hitter here in this situation.
Yeah, 270 and 7 doubles before she was injured in the Indiana game, or after the Indiana game. Didn't play from March 8th to April 5th against NIU was her first game back. Has struggled a little bit being back, understandably, considering maybe she was forced back a little bit off of injury. Certainly a bat that you'd want back in the lineup, and a great defender as well as your shortstop, being able to move Addie Martin back over to third.
Yeah, only 2 hits in 6 games since her return, but, I mean, even if she's a little slow on the offensive side of the ball, her defensive worth that she brings to the team is still worth it to get her out there regardless.
Off-speed inside for ball 1, a 1-0 count for Miller to Kaufman. Last 6 games started for her, which happens to be the total of NIU and Western Michigan, 2 for 14, 2 RBIs, 2 runs, a home run, the first of her career, and 3 walks.
Kaufman earned her first career home run in an 8-0 win for the Falcons over the Broncos. Fantastic moment for her, and maybe some momentum that she can build off of that going into the series.
2-0 pitch from Miller is high. 3-0 count for Kaufman. Runner on second and first and second. So runner in scoring position for Kaufman, who takes the 3-0 pitch, and it's a middle fastball for strike one, and still a favorable count for Kaufman, but a strike back for Miller.
Kaufman 6 walks on the year to 12 strikeouts.
Getting her call from the bench, and Jenna Hall. Ground ball to the shortstop, mishandled by Kennelly, and the runner is going to be safe at second. Hannah Hunt gets there quick. Barron advances to third. Kaufman safe at first, and it'll bring up Scarlett Anderson with the bases loaded.
First error on the day for the Bobcats. I think that's going to be registered on Kennelly as the infielder is going to come in and talk about the situation. We're seeing a lot of trouble with these infielders, with these even simple ground balls, whether that's a result of the weather or just maybe a result of just poor play. It's tough to tell here.
Tough to tell when you're not out there fielding ground balls and how the wind is affecting the way the ball is bouncing, the way it's lifting off of the dirt. Kaufman reaches on a fielder's choice. It's listed. But Hunt is said to advance to second on an error, so I don't know exactly what the call is necessarily.
Well, the throw went to second base.
The throw did go to second base, but if it's listed as fielder's choice, I don't know.
Yeah,
she's on first. That's really all that matters.
Yeah, the error was on the gathering of the ball, not really on the throw.
So Scarlett Anderson, who hit her first home run against Western Michigan last weekend, will step up with 1 out and the bases loaded.
Fantastic moment for Anderson hitting her first career home run on senior day. Was the only one of 4 seniors to play in that game and made the best of the situation. Kind of a career remembering moment for sure.
Fastball waist high inside for strike one. The 0-1 pitch from Miller, trying to work her way out of a jam, and it's lined out into right field, caught by the right fielder Hummel. Tagging is Barrett. She's going to try for home and make it. Tie game 1-1 after the sac fly by Scarlett Anderson.
Good job getting the job done and getting the run in to tie the game back up here in the first. That's all you really asked for from Anderson, is just get the ball, in play, get it in the outfield specifically, and did the job there.
2 sacrifices utilized to get the 2 runs on the board. 1 for Ohio, 1 for Bowling Green. Now Ava McKee with 2 outs will step up, and a runner on first and second. First pitch, that had some heat on it for strike one. McKee, a .210 hitter. Only 1 extra base hit. It's a double this season and a around .550 OPS.
Yeah, McKee kind of taken over this starting catching job as of past couple weeks from junior Ashley Chevalier. So she's having a good freshman year, playing 23 games, 62 at-bats. This is her 63rd right now.
And her 5 first games started, 2 against Kent State, 2 against Youngstown State, and 1 against Ball State, as she grounds one down the third base line. And it's going to be foul. In those first 5 games that she started, 7 for 19, 9 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and a double. Impressive stretch there. But since that, 3 for 16, an RBI, a run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, that struggle has kind of been consistent across the bottom of the Falcon lineup of the past couple of weeks as she gets hit by that pitch.
Yeah. Takes it on the shoulder. I'll bring up Kendall Matthews again with the bases loaded. Kaufman to second, Hunt to third, McKee to first. So Matthews, Massaro, and Steffes. Pretty similar situation than we saw in the top half of the inning when Abby Kennelly came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
It's the exact same situation. Yeah, seven hole hitter up.
Actually, a lot of similarities. Both runs scored on a sacrifice. First pitch, low, ball 1.
Matthews, junior transfer from Lakeland College, hit her 3rd home run of the year on Saturday. 15 RBIs on the season.
Great power. from her, batting in the 9-hole most of the season, moved up to 7th today. Second pitch, strike, 1-1.
Mean pitch by Miller right up high and outside corner. Miller probably a little bit angry about the way this first inning has gone for her. Always want to see consistency for these pitchers who, expect a lot of themselves after you make the all-first team twice.
Popped out to the second baseman, and Uhas makes the catch and ends the inning. Bowling Green ties it at 1-1 after the first inning complete. Top of the second coming up in a minute. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
Remember the 60s? That's when the U.S. Surgeon General warned us that cigarette smoking causes lung cancer. Well, music's changed, and now there's another warning from the U.S. Surgeon General. Radon causes lung cancer. Radon is an invisible gas that seeps into your home, and it can cause lung cancer whether you smoke or not. The only way to know if radon is in your home is to have it tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. That's 1-800-SOS-RADON. Because radon problems can be fixed. Brought to you by this station and the U.S. EPA.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here at Meser Field, top of the second inning as Mackenzie Kraftic takes the mound again, worked her way out of trouble in the top of the first inning, had bases loaded and 2 outs, got that final out on a strikeout swinging by Abby Kennelly. That'll bring up the 8, 9, and 1 batters, Wessler, Hummel, and the top with Uhas. That's an incredible knack that Kraftic has, one for getting yourself maybe in a little bit of trouble, but also the ability to get out of it, as we saw, loading the bases and escaping out of it with only 1 run. That was not one of the runners that was on with the bases loaded.
She's consistently had a lot of these outings where she gets deep into these games and now allows maybe, upwards of 7, 8, 9 hits, but only 1 or in some cases even 0 earned runs. So something that she does very well is get herself out of jams.
Incredible poise from the junior as she throws first pitch strike to Wessler. Wessler, the third baseman.
5'6" junior out of Marion, Ohio, 2023 All-MAC tournament team.
Line down the third base line, foul.
Wessler, red hot as a player, hits in 5 of her last 6 games. 265 on the year, the 727 OPS.
2 for 9 against Toledo. Did have a home run. That was her only run in RBI on that weekend. So still production against Toledo, not the highest. So here's the 0-2 pitch from Kraftic. Bounce back up the middle. Hannah Hunt will take it on the backhand, throw over to first, but it's going to be late. Beat out by Shelby Wessler, who will take first base on an infield single.
Weak contact can sometimes be your friend, especially if it's a ground ball in the infield. There was her friend in that case, put in between Hunt and Kaufman right near second base. No play for either of them.
It's too slow for her to handle, although it was clean play and a clean throw.
Here's Belle Hummel, Cincinnati native junior. With injury in 2024, here playing fully healthy in 2025.
Opening pitch away, 1-0. 300 hitter and over a 670 OPS on the season. Certainly impressive.
Low OPS, but high average. That means she profits off of a lot of singles and a lot of maybe weaker contact.
One of the highest amount of at-bats on the team as well, 120, is third, just 5 behind the leader of Brenna Farmer. Coming into today, swing and a miss. High fastball from Kraftic. Got Hummel to chase. We have top of the order waiting on deck, Uhas and Kydell. 2-1 count from Kraftic. Addie Martin way in at third base. Taylor Barron a couple steps in at first. Next pitch up and away. A 3-1 count that Kraftic will have to work her way out.
Hummel, not a big walker, only 6 on the year. That's least out of anyone in the lineup today.
Slaps it off of the screen, foul behind home plate. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 errors, and 3 left on base for Ohio in the top of the first inning. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 error, and 3 left on base for Bowling Green in the bottom of the first inning. Full count, slapped back into the screen again.
You can see that why her statistics are the way they are in her approach to the plate. She uses that slap hitting kind of approach. A little bit of a running start and just try to make contact with it.
Definitely looking for contact. Payoff pitch from Kraftic, slapped into the screen again. 3 straight foul balls for Hummel. She tries to turn it over to the top with the runner on first base.
Again, another one of these counts that are way up there for the Bobcats.
Another payoff pitch from Kraftic, just barely outside. Ball 4, and Hummel will take first base. First and second for the top of the lineup.
Here we go again. OU with the first 2 hitters on base once again.
Uhas walked in the first, stole second base, and reached third on an error throw by Ava McKee. Odd-looking play, a bouncing pitch, and a throw way to the second base side of second base. This one lined over the head of Hannah Hunt at second base. Taking third is the runner, and she'll be sent home. The throw to the plate is cut off by Barrett, and they'll split the runners at first and third. A single over the head of the second baseman scores Shelby Wessler.
Makes it 2-1 here for the Bobcats. Another one that was just right over the glove of Hunt. Got into the outfield there, and good job taking advantage and reading that one well was Wessler, who got around from second to home pretty easily.
CC Kydell up with no outs. Runner on first and third. Corner infield just playing a step inside of the bag. She shows bunt, misses it. The throw cut off by Hunt. Hunt's got the runner at third, caught, but the throw was a little bit late from Hunt over. It's going to be a free base for Lauren Uhas.
Pre-planned play by McKee and Hunt there to try to get the runner at third. That's you typically never throw over to second, especially in softball, with how short the bases are between each other. But cut it off early and try to get her at third. Didn't work out in that case.
0-1 now with 2 runners in scoring position. Next pitch, strike 0-2. Early lead in the count for Kraftic, who has to try and deliver a way out of this as well. Has already given up a run. Single to Shelby Wessler, and then a single by Lauren Uhas to score. A walk mixed in there as well. 0-2 pitch from Kraftic. Off speed away.
Kydell was the one scored that first one, RBI ground out in her first at bat.
18 RBIs on the season, one of the lower amounts, but the leadoff hitter, understandably, fouls this one off of what looked to be the umpire and Ava McKee.
Kraftic just having a really hard time getting these batters out. She can get to 2 strikes in the count, but just can't get that third pitch.
Just lacks that really dirty pitch that we've seen from a couple of pitchers in the MAC. Just that strikeout pitch. Kraftic low and away. Missed that one quite a margin, 2-2.
I think we'll see this pretty consistently throughout the game with both teams who will be challenging with runners on the base pass pretty often. The key is just going to be who can stop these runners and leave the most on base.
Line drive over to third base, diving stop by Addie Martin, and she gets the out. The first of the inning, holds the runners at second and third.
Unlucky for Kydell, great contact just over there to the wrong person. Addie Martin plays a fantastic third base. Makes a good play on the line drive.
Brenna Farmer up for the Bobcats. The first baseman had a single in the first and caught trying for home on a fielder's choice. Kraftic bounces it up to McKee, who knocks it dead. Still runner on second and third. A hit will probably score both. Although the way the wind's blowing in from left center field probably aids the left and the center fielder's throw.
Yeah.
This is a fly ball into center field. Massaro looping under it. Makes a great catch. Tries to throw home. Gets it there, but late. That'll be a sacrifice fly for Brenna Farmer. Gets another run in for the Bobcats.
That's a huge play by Massaro. Kind of was in between whether going for it straight up or going with the basket catch. Ultimately decided with the basket catch and made the right decision. Just that's big in terms of holding OU to 1 run in terms of 2 on that play. Because if that one landed, they would have scored 2 for sure.
Fading toward right field a little bit from our point of view. For her, toward her left. Again, with the wind. Emma Hoffner, the catcher, with the second of back-to-back singles in the first inning. Reached third, but never scored. Infield single for her. Wilcox waiting on deck. Wilson in the hole. 2 outs, runner on third base for Ohio, and the top of the second inning. The hat of the umpire just blew off as a testament to the wind here. Here's a high fly ball out into center field. Hannah Massaro will let it go to the second baseman, Hannah Hunt. It looked like it was in the left center field gap and ended up right behind second base. And it's the 3rd out of the inning. Bowling Green will turn it to their bats in the bottom of the second. Actually, we'll stick our way through because we have some stuff to talk about, Henry. You and I helping out with doing some coverage for a certain awards show that Bowling Green is putting on. Henry, why don't you tell us about this said awards show?
Yeah, the Ziggies are coming up here in about a week. We'll be on Wednesday, I believe, next week.
Yeah.
We'll be going through a few different awards, yearly awards just based on athletes' performance, and we're giving out some awards here. We'll talk about Male Freshman of the Year, which is our first one we're talking about today. Rico Bedurov, BGSU men's soccer freshman, who scored 2 goals in their big home win here against UIC in the
there for that game.
Tournament.
Very good. Max Martin, another one of forward for Bowling Green men's hockey, and then Garrett Wright actually will play later today against Purdue Fort Wayne. Probably play later today against Purdue Fort Wayne. We unfortunately do not have a broadcast, but the Falcon baseball team will play there. So Badurov, Martin, and Wright up for Male Freshman of the Year. Coverage will be on theziggies.com and the BG Falcon Media website. Henry, if you had to make a prediction.
I mean, although Garrett Wright he's now a sophomore, so it's going to be just based on his performance last year, but I think he's going to be a player who's pretty tough to beat just considering all of the offensive and defensive production that he has from the catcher spot there. Yeah. He's maybe one of the best offensive pieces, and I think he is the best offensive piece on the Falcons when
I agree.
DJ Newman is out of the lineup like he is right now.
Yeah, he was overshadowed a little bit last year, I think, by DJ Newman and Nathan Archer, who is up for Male Athlete of the Year, which we'll talk about in the next game, but I agree with you. Garrett Wright, a shoe-in for Male Freshman of the Year award. We will keep you updated on that award. April 23rd, I believe, is the date of the Ziggies. First pitch from Skip Miller in the bottom of the second inning is a strike to Hannah Massaro. Massaro playing center field today, has played left field, then first base, and then center field this season. Moved around a lot. A great fielder in high school, nominated for shortstop and outfielder of the year when she was in high school for the state of Ohio.
Yeah, she can play all around the diamond wherever you need it, and we've seen her switch with Kendall Matthews, who's kind of going over to that left field spot. Saw Massaro make a great play defensively last inning.
0-2 for Miller. She's dealing to Massaro. Massaro doing her classic bat up in the eyes of the catcher. And the off-speed is away for 1-2 count.
Massaro hitting 195 on the year with a 519 OPS, 17 hits and 87 at-bats. 6 stolen bases also on the year.
Massaro, Steffes, and then top of the order for the Falcons in the bottom of the second inning. Next pitch low. 2-2 count as the dirt scraper was the last pitch. Last 3 games played, all of them against Western Michigan. 2 for 8, 2 runs and a walk. This one fouled over and over the press box.
Massaro been consistently a good player defensively and had some sparks here. We saw her get her first career home run, or I believe it was her first career game early in the year against USC Upstate.
2-2. This one nubbed down the first base line. Fielded by Farmer. Throw to first and just barely got Hannah Massaro trying. It was a swing and bunt down the first base line, but no cigar for Massaro. Peyton Steffes will come up with 1 out.
That's a good play. Good communication by Farmer and Uhas. Farmer came in on that little short dribbler to first, and Uhas came over to cover first. Massaro pretty speedy, so good play by the Bobcats to get the first out of this inning, which we haven't seen that yet in the game with the leadoff hitter getting out.
Peyton Steffes, a consistent right fielder for the Falcons and a left-handed hitter. If I'm not mistaken, the only left-handed hitter in the lineup today had Katie Hutter, who's played a large amount of the games this season. Also a lefty. Obviously a step closer to first base, which is a great advantage. 2-0 count now. Miller misses inside.
Steffes in right field today, sophomore, hitting .252. On the year, a very contact-oriented player.
Moved her way all the way up the lineup to 5th at one point, but in her last 6 games played, 1 for 13 as she looks at a strikeout side. A double, an RBI, and a walk during that time, but 4 strikeouts in the last 6 games. Has not had a multi-hit game since March 21st against Kent State in that very good Kent State series for the Falcons. She fouls this one off down the first base line.
Mentioned in pregame, putting a hitter like this in the 9 hole is nice in terms of just turning it over to the top of the lineup. There's Barrett, Martin, Hunt, all solid hitters there in the infield.
Steffes does have a great amount of speed, able to beat out ground balls here and there. Just high. Close pitch. Puts it at a full count.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think Miller wanted the call on that one. It's going to be full now. See if she goes back to that fastball or elects with the off speed.
1 out, full count. Barrett on deck. Martin in the hole. Peyton Steffes at the plate. The payoff pitch fouled back into the screen. Steffes staying alive.
I'm impressed with the Falcons being able to hit Miller here early in this game.
Yeah.
Tough pitcher in tough conditions.
Only 1 hit so far, but they've had confident at-bats, something they were lacking earlier in the year, I think against a very similar Ella Whitney from Ball State. Ground ball to the second baseman, fielded by Uhas, thrown over to first for the second out.
The key is just going to be putting the ball in play and not a lot of pop flies. You know, you want to keep the line drives, get the ground balls moving here.
You would want a little bit of stronger contact than we've seen so far, but now we're at the second time through the order and only the second inning. So the Falcons will get another look. Barron had a single and the only run scored for Bowling Green in the first inning. Number down the first base line that kind of split the first and second baseman. Now she hits a ground ball up the middle. Diving play to try and knock it down by Kennelly, but it'll be the second hit of the game for Taylor Barron as she takes a 2-out single in first base.
Seems like she's got Skip Miller's number here early on, back-to-back singles with great contact on both of them. It looked like Kennelly kind of got a glove on it, just wasn't able to make the play completely.
It always seems like contact hitters have an advantage against some more power-oriented pitchers.
Yeah.
You know, big swings tend to miss, and with a pitcher that's already throwing hard, it's even more of a propensity.
And speaking of big hitters, up steps Addie Martin, who struck out looking, and last at-bats me, that goes to your point a little bit.
Yeah, very good pitch on the inside that she got. This one lined out into right field. It'll be picked up by Hummel. Barrett will turn the bag and head to third base. Martin will be held up at first. Barrett almost tripped at second, but was able to stay on her feet. And a good 2-out single for Addie Martin and the Falcons, who are trying to put up a 2-out rally and combat those 2 runs Ohio scored in the top of the second.
Top of the lineup has proven the reason why they are at the top of the lineup right now. Big back-to-back singles with 2 outs in this inning. Getting 1 back would even be a big deal here for the Falcons in this inning.
4 hits now for Bowling Green, all 4 in the top 3 batters. Hannah Hunt has had 1 in the first inning. Advanced to third, didn't score. So it's Hunt, Kaufman, and Anderson. First pitch outside. Addie Martin will take second base without a throw. She was most of the way there before the catcher Hoffner even picked up the ball.
15 stolen bases now on the year for the Falcons, and for Martin, that leads the team.
That's a big bag, too, because now a single probably scores 2, depending on where it's hit. Hunt takes another pitch low, 2-0. Count how many 2-0 counts has Miller fallen into?
Yeah, not too many, but you're probably pitching around Hannah Hunt here in this situation with Kaufman up next.
Who has struggled a little bit.
Yeah, and the first base is open right now.
2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss for Hannah Hunt. High fastball.
Yeah, she was swinging for the fences once those 3 runs. Not sure how.
Yeah, it could possibly be a futile effort.
You could get a full bat on it. It probably still wouldn't
Yeah.
leave the yard here today with the wind.
2-1 now the count. Skip Miller winds and deals to Hannah Hunt. Up and away. 3-1, and probably a favorable pitch coming, unless, like Henry said a second ago, you let her go and pitch to Cam Kaufman in the 4 spot.
Hunt singles in her first at bat. Kaufman, fielder's choice, which led to an error.
The 3-1 pitch is left up, so she is going to pitch to Cam Kaufman with Hunt taking first on a walk. So now 4 hits and a walk for the top 3 batters in 6 plate appearances.
Well, here's the chance to prove it for Kaufman, maybe past few games where she's been getting back into her groove leading into this moment here for her. Scarlett Anderson awaits on deck as well.
Yeah, hoping that she gets an at-bat, meaning a run would score, obviously. 2 outs, bases loaded. Skip Miller trying to work her way out of her second jam of the game in only her second inning. Got the first 2 outs, and then 2 straight singles from Barrett and Martin. The walk just a second ago to Hunt, and now Jenna Hall will take a stroll out to the circle and talk to her pitcher.
I'm going to be interested to see what sort of leash, just on both sides, Kravchuk and Miller, both these pitchers have, just considering high pitch counts for both of them. 49 for Miller, 56 for Kravchuk in 2 innings, which, of course, isn't a super big deal, especially for Miller, who's pretty used to going deep into games with pitch counts up over 150.
I mean, Kravchuk has had games where she's completed games. Morgan Beckham doing the same with 96 pitches under 100, or at least gotten into the 6th inning. We're barely through 2.
Yeah.
And we're already talking about pitch count a little bit. So
yeah, and this sort of pitching in the wind can really kind of wear you down too, especially with softball. You have the underhand motion, which is a very physical. It's a lot of forward momentum. So that can, if it's working, if the wind is working against you, you have to exert that extra effort to, just throw the same amount of velocity. So that can also be an added point to it.
Even if it's not working against you, still something you have to worry about to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Blowing at the back of Skip Miller now. She's got a 1-0 count to Cam Kaufman. Puts it waist high for strike 1.
That's a tough pitch to hit, right?
Yeah.
When she hits that spot every time with that fastball, it just comes in so fast.
High fastball she likes to use. She's used it a lot. Missed high a lot as well, but kind of lived in that spot on the up and on the inside. 1-1 pitch, 2 outs, bases loaded. Kaufman fouls it off. She was looking for that inside pitch. It was just too far inside to put into play.
I think she's probably going to go back to it here. It's 2 straight pitches on the inside, and Kaufman wasn't really on that one.
She has tried that slow off-speed away, too, and she's thrown a couple of fastballs in a row.
If I was her, maybe low and inside off-speed.
Yeah. She has the pitch to the waist. It's a 1-2 count. The delivery, she went off-speed, but way high.
That didn't.
I think she just spun it wrong.
Yeah, that wasn't where she wanted that one for sure.
Now up to a 2-2 count, so not really a pitch to waist. You can try a strikeout pitch, but if you miss, you're in a spot where you have nowhere to put Cam Kaufman. 2-2 count for Miller. Miller toes, deals, pop fly out into the right side of the infield, and a catch is made by Uhas ranging toward first base. I'll put the inning away. The Falcons do not score, but threaten with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 2nd. Top of the 3rd coming up on Falcon Radio.
BGSU Baseball freshman outfielder Carter Motice made his collegiate debut for the Orange and Brown on April 9th, earning the start against Youngstown State. Motice did not disappoint, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 2 doubles and 3 runs batted in. Motice, who is a star at Jackson High School in Massillon, Ohio, did not play in the first half of the season due to injuries. He helped the Falcons defeat the Penguins 17-5, sweeping the season series over Youngstown State. Overall, 9 freshmen have seen action for BGSU baseball this season. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
We'll do our standard uniform check here at Messer Field. Bowling Green softball trailing 3-1 to Ohio, who bats in the top of the third inning right now. Henry, give us a rundown of the unis that we're seeing for both of these teams. Very good ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, nice matchup today. Bowling Green with their all whites, which I think are probably my favorites, in my opinion. The orange collars and then the orange and white stirrups make a good combo with the orange hats. And then OU in the all black look today with the white helmets and the white kind of shoulder lining on these uniforms. The kind of Adidas looking socks with the 3 stripes on the stirrups, and then black pants with white lining. So I know you mentioned you don't like the black and green combo too much, and not too much green feature on these, so I think it's a pretty good uniform for sure.
Second pitch after the ball inside is a ball away for Mackenzie Kraftick, who will work against Ohio's Maddie Wilcox, Izzy Wilson, and Abby Cannelli. Yeah, I think I like Bowling Green's better. All white is classic. Can't do two wrong. Kraftick strike in the outside corner and then off speed. But the black is a very clean look, and I like what you're saying with the white sleeves. It adds a little bit of color to a uniform that would be kind of boring if it was all black.
The dark green is probably my favorite color, so I'm always a fan of any green uniforms.
Fly ball out in the right field. That one hooked toward the first base line badly, caught by the wind. But Peyton Steff is under, and she'll put it away. Maddie Wilcox with the first out. Izzy Wilson and Abby Cannelli will step up.
High pop flies are going to be pretty entertaining to watch. Throughout today, we've already seen on that last Kaufman pop fly, it was basically hit. It seemed like it was hit pretty much in the gap between Uhas and Farmer, and then Farmer ended up kind of having to move out of the way of Uhas because it curved so far over towards the first base line. So a lot of movement on these pop flies, and it's going to be tough for these defenders.
Kraftick delivered a strike. Even on that last one, with no wind, it was probably going to be caught by Massaro in center field. Or at least it looked like it off the bat. It was in the right center field gap. This one sliced down the third base line and pushed foul. So 2, Kraftick jumps ahead. First leadoff at bat out that she's had in this game. Had walk in the first inning to lead off, a single in the second inning to lead off. Now gets that first batter that didn't help Miller too much in the bottom of the second, but certainly one that you got to get off your back. First pitch base runners first batter base runners are very tough to work back from. 1-2, fouled off again.
We've seen both pitchers kind of settle in a little bit. We saw the first out gotten by Kraftick and Miller in last inning, although the Falcons rallied with 2 outs. That was the top of the lineup. It's the 5, 6, 7 hitters for the Bobcats, though.
Pitch low. Key has to get down and block it. 2-2. You mentioned an 0-2. You mentioned in the last inning, actually, 0-2 counts somewhere. Surprisingly enough, Kraftick has struggled a little bit to work back and nibbles around the corners and works it back into a favorable count for the batter. And 2-2 now, sliced out into right field and fair down the left field line. I apologize. Kendall Matthews will chase it into the corner, and taking second is Izzy Wilson. And he gets a 1-out double.
Well, there's this hitter who's in 175 who still contributes. She hit .313 last year on road to an All-MAC second team spot and just kind of struggled a little bit this year, but obviously the threat is still there for a player that is looking to get going at any point, and there's a nice hit for her to get going.
Yeah, Izzy Wilson, only her 4th extra base hit of the season, her 3rd double. And Cannelli will step up to the plate now. A left-hander with a runner on second base, in scoring position with 1 out. Corners way in. Addie Martin about even with the mound, halfway down the third base line. Taylor Barrett nearing in on halfway down the first base line.
Martin is really far in.
Yeah, she'll have to cover third base if the runner decides to go. We'll watch that in a second. 1-0. Kraftick slapped down the third base line. Try to be knocked down by Addie Martin. Matthews will make a good read, take a couple steps in to stop the runner from advancing to second and the runner on third advancing to home.
That's unfortunate, Ben, because I think if Martin was in her original position, she would have made that play with no problem.
On the back end. Held the runner at second and got the out at first, probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. The shift sometimes gets you.
Just playing the luck at the draw. So runners on first and third with 1 out. Double play is in order for Wessler.
Krafzik probably looking to deal low and get it on the ground. Martin at third, still playing in. First pitch strike from Krafzik, who will try and jump ahead of the count again.
Wessler singled, infield single in her last at bat in the second inning.
Wessler Hummel in top for Ohio. Fouled off down the first base line, away from the right-handed hitter.
This contact-oriented approach is really frustrating for pitchers. You can see it's really getting to Krafzik here. You get the first out and you think, okay, maybe I'll finally be able to get out of this inning, and nope, it's.
Well, and you even mentioned that in the pregame as well. You mentioned not a lot of power from Ohio, but very deep amount of contact. Swing and a miss on a good pitch inside for Mackenzie Krafzik. Punches out Shelby Wessler. 2 outs, runner on first and third, and it'll bring up Belle Hummel, the 9-hitter.
That one was so low and inside, it almost hit Wessler on the feet.
Yeah, that was an MLB The Show swing and a miss.
Yeah, a little bit of curve there on Krafzik's pitch, maybe. That's what it looked like from up here, at least.
Corner's still in for the Falcons. Middle infield still back. And this one slapped down the third baseline foul. Looks like they're trying to take Krafzik away. We've seen most of the foul balls go away from the handedness of the batter.
Yeah.
Belle Hummel, the lefty, down the third baseline. And the last at bat, Shelby Wessler, coupled down the first baseline.
Runners in the corners with 2 outs. I would watch for Kennelly stealing a bag here.
Next pitch outside, 1-1. Although if Kennelly does get thrown out, you have the 9-hitter leading off the 4th inning instead of the top of the order.
If
Something definitely to think about.
If she does end up going, it would be her first attempt of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe not a big base stealer. She was going on that pitch, but that one's foul.
1-2 from Krafzik. So she's back up into a favorable pitcher count, very much so.
We had a contrary situation in the top half where runners on second and third with a very dangerous hitter on deck, where you kind of pitched around, and now it's bottom of the lineup with the top of the order on deck, so different situation.
Ground ball to the shortstop. Cam Kaufman flicks over to first base, and it's out number 3 for the Falcons. Threatens, but they hold the Bobcats off of the board, getting out the 9th hitter. We're going to lead off the bottom of the 3rd with Scarlett Anderson, Ava McKee, and Kendall Matthews. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Phil Beskid, BGSU Radio Faculty Advisor. You can catch all the Falcon Media Sports Network broadcasts on our 2 stations, WBGU 88.1 FM and Falcon Radio, which can both be found on bgfalconmedia.com. Ziggy.
3-1 lead for Ohio after 2.5 innings of play. We have the bottom of the 3rd coming up with Anderson, McKee, and Matthews, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. No hits between any of those in the first inning. McKee is the only one that reached base. She had a hit by pitch. Anderson at the plate, and Skip Miller delivers strike 1.
Anderson did have some solid contacts. Line drive to right field that scored the first run of the game for the Falcons.
Bowling Green left the bases loaded in the last 2 innings. So they've had opportunities. Now, granted, they've had opportunities with 2 outs, but they've still had opportunities. Here's another pitch inside for strike 2. 0-2 count to Anderson, who, like you said, sacrificed in the first to get the run in. Miller gets the call. Wind, deal, inside and low.
With the 5, 6, 7 hole up, this is a good opportunity for Miller to maybe settle in a little bit with towards the bottom of the lineup. here in this inning.
Beginning to prove that she can go into the game. If she pitches to more than 4-5 batters, if you're Jenna Hall, you got to start worrying about what you're going to do later. Off speed, left high.
Yeah, of course they have plenty of options between Wise and Living, who both with ERAs under 3.
You do have games coming up this weekend, though. And, 5-game weeks, even on softball pitchers, not the greatest. Miami, a very good team that you're playing, low and inside, and now up to a full count.
That's going to be a fun series to watch if you're a Max softball fan. That's basically as good as it gets. Top 2 teams who are going to be competing for that Max softball tournament as we get into May.
And Miami, a hot-hitting team against a very good pitching team in Ohio. Swing and a miss. Anderson's caught on a high fastball.
Good pitch by Miller.
Yeah, her second strikeout of the game.
Are there 2 similarities between BG and OU? They both have extremely difficult final schedules. BG plays Central and Miami, and then you mentioned the rivals Toledo to end the year, and OU still has 3 out of the 4 main competitors that they're going to be competing with in the tournament. Central Michigan, Ball State, and Miami all coming up to end the season.
Called strike on the inside. Looked very close to Ava McKee, but a called strike nonetheless. She was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Didn't back away from that inside one. So Miller's done a lot of throwing on the inside and throwing high. That fastball trying to get ahead of the bat. Now here's a chopper over to the shortstop. Kennelly will throw over to first and get Ava McKee in a routine play.
Yeah, it's a good play. One thing you see with a lot of these high velocity pitchers, especially with freshmen, is you see them kind of not really like to go inside consistently, just worried about hitting the batter. You like to usually see him, stay high and outside or low and outside. But Miller, who's a veteran pitcher, is comfortable going low and inside, which is a really tough look for the hitters, especially when the velocity is there.
And from a different point of view as well, you'd kind of want to be inside, and it's just so much harder to get the bat around.
It is.
When you're already throwing hard, putting it inside. Waist high, fastball, strike 1.
You have, if you're in, the SEC, you're typically used to seeing, high velocity, obviously not as, Miller not as fast as a lot of SEC pitchers, but with the MAC, you get a lot of different variety. You see it today just with Krafchick and Miller in terms of velocity, so it's tough to get used to it sometimes.
Pop fly carried way foul from Kendall Matthews, batting 7th today. Playing left field, popped out to the second baseman in the first inning. Didn't have an at-bat in the second.
A good example is just Kendall Sawyer and Casey Fazzini, the 2 Western Michigan pitchers that BG saw over the weekend, 2 slower pitchers, so there's a different look right there.
0-2 to Matthews. Lifts it out in the air to deep left field. Ranging back at the warning track is Wilson, and I don't know if the wind caught enough, but it was warning track power for Kendall Matthews. 1-2-3 inning for Skip Miller, and the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the 4th coming up. Bowling Green trailing 2. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain, and reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives like physical therapy to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area.
Are you a fan of BG Falcon Media and the Falcon Media Sports Network? You can show your support for BGSU Student Media by donating at the bottom of the page of stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Right up a little. Back here at Messer Field, 3-1. Ohio leads, and they bat in the top of the 4th inning. Mackenzie Krafchick still on the mound for Bowling Green. She's got a tough start to the 4th inning with the top of the order, Juhas Kaidel and Farmer, the 1, 2, and 3 batters.
It's a dangerous inning for the Falcons. They really could have used that second run that may have been provided if Kendall Matthews hit that ball on Saturday, not today.
Yeah.
The wind definitely killed it right at the warning track. But with top of the lineup and 3-run lead for OU, this could get dangerous real fast for the Falcons, even if they just allow 2 or 3 runs in this inning.
Uhas had a single in the second inning, walk in the first inning, reached base both times, had a stolen base in the first, and scored the game-tying run as it stands right now. A bunt down in front of the plate. Ava McKee throws the first, and Hannah Hunt can't handle the throw. Looks like it's going to be ruled a hit. She did get down the line quite quickly.
Yeah, I think she would have beat out the throw even if Hunt caught that one. Honestly, great play by McKee. She was really quick on getting to that ball that was right in front of her at the plate. That one's tough for catchers, especially when you got to move super quickly with Uhas, who is maybe one of the fastest players in the MAC.
Just barely in front of the plate. This one popped over in foul territory. Almost playable for McKee, who ranges out of her position, but it'll fall foul. Third time today, now in the fourth inning, that Kraftic has failed to get the leadoff batter. The other 2 times that it's happened, she's allowed runs.
McKee's going to be hot on her feet as there goes Uhas.
And she'll have it easy. The tag from Kaufman, just a cursory one. Stolen base for Uhas after her single.
That's 17 on the year now for Uhas. Impressive number. That's difficult when you have that runner that can just get on base, hits over 300, and is that fast. You know, she has the ability to steal third straight up also.
Yeah. 3 more than Bowling Green's Addie Martin is the leader between these 2 sides. Bunt down the third base line. Martin throws over to first and gets the runner. Hunt can hold on to this, but the job is done for Kydell as she gets the runner over to third and brings up Brianna Farmer with 1 out.
That's a good play, and that is the advantage of bringing Martin in. We saw it not work in her favor early last inning, and it worked perfectly there. She was able to just come in on that one that was pretty much right in front of the catcher and make the play.
So now Brenna Farmer with a single in the first, sacrifice in the second. Off speed, left over the zone. Good thing Farmer wasn't sitting on that pitch. It was pretty slow, but a strike.
Runner is on third, so sacrifice fly is in play for Farmer.
Wind blowing directly in or slightly to the first base side?
It seems like it's changing direction.
It's changing a little bit based on the American flag in center field.
Yeah, that's the only
way we have to base it. 1-1 count from Kraftic as she toes up the rubber, winds and deals, and another off-speed over the zone. Farmer is just a step late on that off-speed. And we'll see what Kraftic does here with a 1-2 count. Is she going to go back to it, or is she going to go with the hard stuff?
Big count here with 1 out, runner on third.
1-2. Away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like OU is just seeing Kraftic really well because they get down to 1 and 2 counts and they just lay off 1 or 2 pitches and they foul a couple off and put one in play. It seems like almost every at bat at the top of the lineup.
I think a couple of hits today with a 1-2 or an 0-2 count. 2-2 pitch lifted in the air to center field. Hannah Massaro's lifting under it. Now it's Peyton Steffes who has to make a diving play on it as the wind was catching it. Then he'll score the run. If Massaro catches that ball, that's very likely that they would have been able to get a good throw on home and maybe challenge the runner. But because Steffes had to dive for it, couldn't get on her feet and get the throw out fast enough.
Yeah, that was a good play laying out to get that one. Get 2 outs. Just Farmer did her job. Not really anything you can do when she puts the ball in play in the outfield and with the speed at first.
That's 2 plays now that Massaro in center and Steffes in left and right that they've had to make that have kind of taken away ability to throw because of the way the wind takes the ball. Now ground ball to shortstop. Kaufman barely knocks down, but it squeaks into the outfield. It'll be a single for Hoffner.
Second hit of the game. Hoffner had another ground ball single in the first.
It'll bring up Maddie Wilcox. Wilcox a fly out to the right fielder in the third inning. Reached on error in the first. Still 2 outs. Now runner on first base. Both outs this inning on sacrifices. Sacrifice bunt and then a sac fly to get the run in. And no throw on the stolen base from McKee. Hoffner will take second. It's catcher stolen base.
Not too worried about that, although that puts the runner in scoring position. Just a great jump from Hoffner. That's her 8th stolen base on the year.
Pretty good speed for a catcher. 1-0, ground ball, back up the middle. Hannah Hunt will try and knock it down on the backhand. She does, and it'll get the run in. Stopped it behind second base. Very tough play to try and complete for Hannah Hunt.
Yeah, well, the Bobcats capitalize here in the 3rd. I mean, it's just tough. Or in the 4th, in the 4th, excuse me. It's tough for Krafchick against this top of the lineup. It seems like they really have her number as McKee comes out to talk to her.
It looks like Gardner's going to do the same. Izzy Wilson is going to be at the plate. Again, that's a sub-200 hitter, the only one in the lineup for Ohio. So definitely one that if you're Krafchick, you have to get.
9 hits already for the Bobcats. I think their play style really kind of plays into these conditions. Maybe saying home field advantage for the Falcons is maybe a bit too hasty on prediction, just because with Martin and Matthews and a lot of the production that Falcons get, it's a lot more power oriented compared to the Bobcats, who love this contact.
It also seems like the ball's just been a step out of the Falcon gloves the whole way.
Sure,
I mean, we saw 2 plays in the outfield. Massaro had to make a very good one that she stumbled on, couldn't get a throw off the home. Steffes on that one that looked like a routine fly ball, and you would have got a strong throw. You ended up having to pretty much dive for it. A couple of ground balls that have just been a step out of Cam Kaufman and Hannah Hunt's grasp. One at third to Addie Martin, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, they've been putting the ball all around the field, making all 9 Falcons make plays. Even McKee has had to get out there at catcher and do some work.
Low and away, ball 1. Krafchick to Izzy Wilson. Ground ball to the shortstop, Cam Kaufman, and it squeaks through her legs. I mean, error on Kaufman at short.
That one's tough. That's a play that should be made straight up.
For a pretty sure-handed Cam Kaufman as well.
4th error on the day for the Falcons. They're the ones who are maybe suffering due to these conditions as opposed to the Bobcats.
5-1 now. Ohio leads in the top of the 4th inning. Truly tough to be giving a very good team in Ohio the opportunities the Falcons have so far.
You can't give them anything. And you're giving them 4 errors worth of on-base production right now. 5-1 lead. Scoring 5 runs on Skip Miller is an extremely tall task, just anything considered. So the Falcons are going to have their hands full.
Next pitch away, 1-1 to count.
Kennelly singled in her last at-bat in the 3rd, struck out in her first at-bat in the 1st. Father Tim played golf at Jacksonville University. I'm sure he was a big fan of the Masters that have been going on.
Slap over just past the diving play of Cam Kaufman. It'll be another single. I mean, that's just another one, Henry, that was like just out of the grasp of one of the Falcons. And if Addie Martin had been playing even with the bag or at a normal depth, would have been just a line drive 3rd out.
Yeah, tough situation. I mean, there's not much you can really say about it. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's a sport that's, if you want to say there's a sport that's kind of based on luck more than anything, it's baseball and softball. So
slap down the first baseline foul.
Of course, it's not all luck, right?
Yeah.
You're putting the ball in play and you're forcing the Falcons to make plays, and sometimes it works out your way. And it works out more times than not when you consistently put the ball in play and put solid contact on it.
4-error game in the last one versus Western Michigan, the most since March 22nd against Kent State. Still a win for Bowling Green, but now sitting at 4 errors in only the 4th inning. 0-2 count out for Krafchick as she puts an off-speed in the zone.
Oh, 2 count, big opportunity to finally get out of this inning for Krafchick.
Yeah, bases loaded, 2 outs at the bottom of the order. Swing and a miss. Actually fouled off, it looked like, off of Shelby Wessler.
Wessler took that one off of her foot, walks it off a little bit, no harm done.
4 hits, 2 runs already in this inning for Ohio. Now 2 outs for Krafchick to try and work her way out.
Only the 2nd time that Mackenzie Krafchick has allowed double-digit hits in one of her outings. First time was against Youngstown State in a 4-inning outing, and a victory against the Penguins.
0-2 off speed just inside. It's ball 1. And again, a 0-2 count for Krafzik. And a 1-2 count now. She'll try and capitalize on. Ground ball down the third baseline, foul. That was pretty hard contact, though. Really turned on that inside pitch.
Good cut by Wessler. She's been seeing the ball well. As have all the Bobcats. They've really been liking that left field line, hitting a lot of stuff down there.
I was inches away from really breaking the game open.
They would have scored 2 or 3 on that for sure.
1-2 from Krafzik, and this off speed is lightly tapped. Just defending the zone is Wessler. Did a good job of it too. Single and a run scored in the second inning. Strikeout in the third. This is their third at bat.
I mean, pitching is as much of a mental game as it is a physical game, and this is one of those situations where it's tough mentally to really stay in the game. If you're Krafzik, you just got to keep going and keep pursuing regardless.
1-2 up and away. 2 balls now.
Of course, she's a junior pitcher, and she's been in situations like this plenty of times, but you can kind of get in your own head sometimes when you're playing a team like this that really just kind of wears you down inning by inning by inning, batter by batter.
Lifted out in the air down the left field line and foul.
I mean that's 5 pitches in the zone that OU's just Wessler has really just kind of battled off 3 foul balls. Krafzik just can't find that one pitch that can get him.
Two 2 outs, bases loaded from Krafzik. Fouled off again. Heck of an at bat from Shelby Wessler.
Over 90 pitches now for Krafzik. She's really getting up there in the count.
Yeah.
This is almost 40, almost 50 pitch inning. Still no action in the Falcon pen.
Krafzik again. This one smoked, but way down the left field line, almost into the parking lot. So still 2-2 count. Very long at bat for Krafzik to try and get her way out. Assuming what Gardner's doing is waiting for Krafzik to get out of this inning, then being somebody to the bullpen over the last inning, if they're going to change pitchers. Assuming the pitch count is very high at this point. Fly ball out into right field. Peyton Steffes under it, and that'll be the final out of the inning. But Ohio gets 2 runs on 4 hits and lead 5-1 over Bowling Green heading into the bottom of the 4th. Falcon Bats have some work to do. We're to the bottom 2 and then the top of the order for the Falcons on Falcon Radio.
BG Authors is a campus organization dedicated to highlighting authors connected to the university. BGSU has produced some amazing authors, including Beth Macy, James Baldwin, and Tim Conway, to name a few. Visit bgauthors.com and subscribe to the blog that regularly updates on new releases, classics, non-BGSU authors, and other features such as book versus movie. That's BG Authors at bgauthors.com. Ever wanted to hear what a BGSU coach or player says after a game? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to watch post-game press conferences for all BGSU home volleyball, soccer, football, hockey, and basketball games.
One, 2, 3 inning in the bottom of the 3rd for Skip Miller. She pitches in the bottom of the 4th now to Hannah Massaro and Peyton Steffes at the bottom of the order, and then Taylor Barrett, the leadoff batter for Bowling Green. Henry Costco and myself, Ben Korak, for the Falcon Media Sports Network. For all BGSU sports news and updates, go to bgfalconmedia.com or BG_FMSN on Twitter. And go to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel for highlight packages, video features. And Henry, you and I have one coming out pretty recently, done by me on bgfalconmedia.com, and a video of Addie Martin that you put together. Very nice piece.
Yeah, that one's about her Addie's injury recovery. Injured her hand in 2024 and has come back and had a fantastic recovery from that injury. It's a really great story for her, and it's a great story for the program. That'll be one to check out for. I believe it's coming out tomorrow. Watch out for that on bgfalconmedia.com, and BG Falcon Media YouTube channel.
Yeah, very good video feature put together by Henry. The 1-0 pitch is inside, 2-0. Now Miller delivers a strike on the outside black.
As far as other FMSN content, softball related this weekend, we'll have a highlight package made by Lucas Kleinmeyer and Jacob, who's down there filming right now, and we'll have a recap by Kevin Hutchinson out after the conclusion of these games.
2-1, fouled off by Massaro. Pretty good at bat she's put together so far. Just now got back to even or behind in the count, 2-2, however you want to look at it.
You know, I feel like it's kind of unfortunate they've had Massaro, Steffes, Barrett as the lineup in 2 separate innings, because you kind of want the top of the lineup to lead off, or at least have Steffes leading off. Swing and a miss by Massaro.
Swing and a miss to Hannah Massaro. She sits down swinging, and brings up Peyton Steffes and Taylor Barrett. They did in the second inning that Henry is referencing. The bottom 2 batters were out, and then Taylor Barrett got a hit, Addie Martin got a hit, Hannah Hunt walked and loaded the bases for Cam Kaufman. Now she popped out to the second baseman, and she still loaded the bases with 2 outs.
Yeah,
I mean, some production and still some fight from this Falcon team.
I mean, Anderson McKee Matthews went down 1-2-3 in the next inning, so maybe it wouldn't have made much of a difference regardless. But you know, you still think about if that wasn't maybe a 2-out rally, if they would have had a little bit more production there in that inning.
Low and in from Skip Miller, who's up to 70 pitches today through 3 innings and change now. That little bender is left away, 2-0. She's fallen to a lot of 2-0 counts. Had to battle her way back a lot. 3 1/3 innings pitched. No earned runs and 1 run total. It was an unearned. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. As we mentioned, not the greatest outing against Toledo. They hammered her for 4 home runs and 5 earned runs. Ground ball to the second baseman. Uhouse throw over to first base. Got the runner. 1-2 for Skip Miller, bringing up the top of the order, and Taylor Barrett.
You know, 70 pitches through almost 4 innings now is a pretty decent mark, but doesn't seem like too much considering Krafchick's 102 that she's had through 3 frames.
Yeah, Scarlett Anderson working out in the pen with Ashley Chevalier.
Anderson hasn't got a lot of play recently. In terms of conference play, I'm sure head coach Michelle Gardner wants to save Morgan Beckham for game 2 of this doubleheader. She'll likely make the start in that one.
Nice pitch by Skip Miller, cuts inside for strike 1. Miller against UT, 5 1/3 innings pitched. 7 earned runs, 4 homers, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Not the greatest game for her, but in the 7 previous appearances, that's 35 innings pitched, only 2 earned runs in 35 innings pitched, 27 hits, 28 strikeouts, 11 walks, a home run, and 3 doubles. Absolutely fantastic in her previous 7 appearances before UT. That was putting together a pretty good one against BG.
Yeah, she had kind of a rough start to the year, and you mentioned that rough outing at Toledo, but she's been pretty much lights out in conference play. That's how it usually is for Miller, and that's how she's earned her 2 times on the MAC first team ballot. This is nice for Barrett, though. First 2-hit game since March 26th against Youngstown State for her, with her 2 singles.
Pops this one out just behind the second baseman. It'll be the right fielder ranging in. Hummel will catch it, put it in her back pocket. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Skip Miller as we head to the top of the 5th inning with a 5-1 Ohio lead. We're actually going to stick our way through this and bring back the Ziggies talk. Again, the Ziggies, BGSU's sports awards show. It's going to take place on April 23rd. We have some of the awards. After the top of the 2nd inning, we talked to you about male freshman of the year. Let's talk about female freshman of the year right now. Sammy Dulce from women's golf, Janaea Donahue from women's basketball, and Reese Riemann from women's track and field and cross country. A very strong female freshman of the year, as the male freshman of the year was. Henry, what do you think about it?
Yeah, we got a variety of sports here, golf, track, and women's basketball. I know Janaea Donahue is kind of a fan favorite as far as women's basketball players. She'll be likely back for the Falcons in 25-26, so has had a great defensive player, and that's really kind of ramped up her offensive production as well towards the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely earned her way into a starting spot, kind of playing that power forward role. Reese Riemann as well, a very good runner for track and field. And again, that's a MAC championship winning team, so she was a part of a championship, whereas Dulce, although her season has not ended, and Janaea Donahue, not so much. Again, for all of the coverage of the Ziggies, just go to your search bar, type in the Ziggies. It should take you to bgfalconmedia.com, a counter, and everything that is posted using hashtag capital T, the capital Z, Ziggy, Z-I-G-G-Y-S. And if you have anything to say about it, any opinions, any comments, you can also use that same hashtag, the Ziggies, and talk to us about that kind of stuff. Line into left field. Kendall Matthews playing in, makes a sliding grab, perfectly shifted, playing in on the slap hitting Bell Hummel. One pitch, one out for Kraftic, who's back on the mound again for Bowling Green.
That's how you play those slap hitters. They'll just send those little weak contact line drives to left field. Matthews playing in, and got the ball pretty much right to her.
One pitch, one out, corners in, middle infield back for the leadoff hitter, Lauren Uhas.
Gardner electing to stick with Kraftic through the fifth inning. Like we maybe kind of expected Anderson to come in, but they're going to stick with Kraftic, although she's over 100 pitches.
Still adding onto that 103 pitch count, now up to 105. One ball, one strike, one out. No runners on for the top of the order. Uhas, Kydell, and Farmer. 3 hits through those top 3. Also a walk added, and a couple of, actually, 4 sacrifices. Some of them to advance runners, 2 of them to get runs in. 2 of them by Brenna Farmer.
Uhas has had Kraftic's number for sure. 2 hits, including an RBI single in the second, walk in the first, and then that stolen base in the fourth that got her around to eventually score on an RBI sac fly from Brenna Farmer.
Paints the outside, 2-2. Back up to a favorable count for Kraftic. One out for the Falcons, who trail by 4 in the top of the 5th inning. This one flied out in the air to right field. Peyton Steff is ranging all the way in. Actually, it's going to be Hannah Hunt that tries to make a play, but it's dropped. A swirling, towering fly ball that looked to be middle right field all the way in, just a step behind the grass. A tough basket catch type play for Hannah Hunt.
And Uhas advances to second, just ran all the way around first, didn't even stop. Tough play for Hunt with the wind. Had to track it all the way pretty much towards the right baseline, field baseline, and wasn't quite able to make the play. So that's another error for the Falcons.
Very tough play over her back, like her back turned to the infield. Steffes really had to run a long way even to get close to it.
So we've had an E1, an E2, an E4. We have 2 more errors as well.
None of them by the outfielders. Outfielders have been pretty strong so far. 0-1, 1 out, runner on second base. This one lined into the outfield. Hannah Massaro will chase down to almost a step into the warning track. She'll throw over to third. What a good throw by Hannah Massaro.
Wow.
It's going to be late, but she put it on a dime to Addie Martin at third base.
That was an awesome throw, almost matching Martin's cannon. Awesome throw all the way from center to third. Uhas advances. Number 2 down.
Brenna Farmer will step up. The first baseman, the lefty, 2 sacrifices, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and a single caught on a fielder's choice trying for home in the first. Productive day for her. She watches a pitch roll up to the plate and ball 1. You got 2 RBIs in her 1-for-2 day.
Every Bobcat has reached base now except for Kydell, although she does have an RBI. I don't know, for 4 day.
Everybody's been productive, including Uhas, who's 2 for 3, 2 runs, a walk, and 3 stolen bases for Lauren Uhas. And she has another chance to put a run on the board, standing at third base, 2 outs. Farmer watches the first strike go by, 2-1 count now from Kraftic.
OU coming off of a series loss against the Rockets. They started off MAC play 7-1, and they've been 4-4 since then, which I'm sure they weren't quite happy with, considering the tough opponents that they have coming up. They might not have those wins free as they kind of did earlier in the year. So coming into the series, this is a big series for them in terms of just getting these 2 wins and moving on.
Pop fly out to the shortstop, Cam Kaufman. She's got it, a step outside of the infield. She'll put it away. No runs scored in the top of the fifth for Ohio. They still lead 5-1. Bowling Green will have to get a couple back in the last 3 innings of the first of a doubleheader here today. Second game's going to be on WBGU 88.1 FM, streaming on bgfalconmedia.com or on any radio station. You're listening now to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
'BGSU women's golfer Sammy Dulce is Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. Recently, the sophomore finished second at the Dolores Black Falcon Invitational. She shot a 69 in the final round, the tournament's lowest single round score. Following the match, head coach Aaron Fahey said, "Sammy had a great weekend for us. She always shows up and gives us an under par round when we need it." The Florida Park, New Jersey native jumped up 6 places in the standings after her stellar final round. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
Ohio leads. Skip Miller takes the mound again to pitch to the top and a very harsh part of the Bowling Green order. Addie Martin, Hannah Hunt, and Cam Kaufman. Kaufman 0 for, Hannah Hunt 1 for, and Addie Martin 1 for as well. So a couple of hits in there, a couple of production. Scarlett Anderson waiting 4th to hit in this inning. Bowling Green will have to get some runs back pretty quickly. You don't want to head into the 7th inning trailing by 4.
Yeah, well, if the Falcons are going to do it, it's going to be this inning with 2, 3, 4 coming up. Not too much opportunity left, only 3 innings left in this game. Are not guaranteed to come up again in this game. So
struck out looking in the first inning on a very good pitch, singled and stole second in the second inning. That was her last at bat. Now bats in the 5th. Takes another pitch low for strike 2, or ball 2, I should say.
Martin was 0 for 3 in the first game of the Saturday doubleheader against Western. Was 3 for 3 in the second game.
Only player in that first game to not have a hit.
Yeah.
Nobody doubled up on hits either. And then in the second game, it was her and Hannah Hunt that dominated all the offense for BG. 6 out of the 8 hits between those two. Addie Martin broke a 13-game hit streak on April 5th, just a little bit ago. 23 hits during that 13-game hit streak from March 15th to April 5th. An impressive run.
Yeah, she got nationally recognized during that run, D1 Softball National Freshman of the Week.
Yeah.
I believe that was first week of the homestand of games against Green Bay, against Kent State. She had some impressive games, including a 4-hit game against Green Bay.
3-1 offering, catches the bottom of the zone, and a full count to the dangerous Addie Martin. Dangerous Skip Miller as well. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings in the 3rd and the 4th after some struggles in the 1st and the 2nd. This one's lifted in the air. Deep in left field, it's going to be way out of play, though. Wind caught it pretty badly.
Good contact by Martin, but I feel like it was kind of just a matter of time until Miller was actually going to settle in against these Falcons. And last 2 innings, she's been pretty much lights out.
The odds that a great pitcher has back-to-back poor outings as well. I mean, we've mentioned the 5 1/3 and 7 earned runs against UT.
Right.
The odds that she has back-to-back outings. This one lasered in the air to deep left center field, and it's going to be caught.
That one looked like it was.
That one looked
really
like
good contact, and it just died.
My gosh.
That's tough for the Falcons. That could have been. I don't want to say that could have been a home run because it was pretty much halfway down the outfield, but looked like it was at least going to the fence.
Yeah, and again, no wind. That's a double. At least, maybe a triple. I mean, it's not going to be killed as much. It's going to go farther, probably hit the warning track, bounce up into the fence. And with the speed of Addie Martin is dangerous.
I mean, that's just part of Midwest softball.
Yeah. This one blooped into right field, and it'll fall for a single for Hannah Hunt, her second hit of the game. Second Falcon to double up in hits with Taylor Barrett. And the top 3 in the order have all 5 hits for the Falcons.
Hannah Hunt just continues to rake. 368 average going into this game, and she's reached base all 3 games. In this one, you would think she's a junior now. You would think, surely last 3 years she's had an impressive career. She's struggled, and 2 years under Coach Fenton, 195 average in her sophomore year, 182 average and 88 at-bats in her freshman year. And this year, just whatever's changed has just worked for her.
Oh, Kaufman just got 8 with the pitch. She'll take first base, so first and second now with 1 out, bringing up Scarlett Anderson.
Well, here's the opportunity for the Falcons, 2 on, 1 out.
Yeah.
Just want to try to avoid the double play in this situation.
First time that Kaufman has reached base today. Scarlett Anderson up to the plate now. First home run, as we mentioned, against Western Michigan. Last year, second half of the year, she played quite a large margin. Batted .220 with 2 doubles, 11 hits, and 50 at-bats. About a .580 OPS, which actually is one of the best registered hitters for or unregistered hitters, one of the best for Bowling Green last year, as well as adding decent amount of pitching. 7.7 ERA, which surprisingly is not that far outside of average for Bowling Green's last season.
Yeah, I mean, another player that just falls into that category of complete improvement, almost cutting her ERA by half to 3.84 this year.
Takes first pitch, strike waist high. Not a lot of swings on first pitches today for Bowling Green. They've done a good job all season of being patient. But, and granted, Skip Miller has fallen behind in counts quite a lot. It was a beautiful pitch with the first. Here's the second. Up and away, ball 1. 1-1 count with 2 runners on and 1 out.
Credit to the Falcons. They haven't done a lot of chasing. Only 3 strikeouts for Miller today. And staying on it.
5-1, Ohio leads. Bottom of the 5th inning. Anderson pops this one up on the infield, playable for Farmer. She ranges in front of her own dugout and makes the catch. 2 outs now with 2 runners on, bringing up Ava McKee, the catcher.
I mean, good play by Farmer. Just unfortunate contact by Anderson. Didn't go the way that she wanted. Just got under it a little too much, and maybe it was a little bit late on it as well.
Still a little bit surprised to see so many Falcons trying to get under the ball, considering their understanding of the wind, of the weather that we have blowing in on the batter the entirety of this game. 2 outs, McKee. This one popped up high in the air, foul.
He hit in her first at-bat, hit by pitch, and then a ground out to shortstop.
Yeah, does not have a hit yet today.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was
anyone
like,
there, yeah.
As long as you reach base, doesn't matter how you get there.
That's for sure.
5th inning, bottom of the 5th inning, runner on second. That's Hannah Hunt. Kaufman at first after her hit by pitch. Next offering is up and away, 1-1 from Skip Miller.
Ava McKee, a graduate of Watkins Memorial High School in Pataskala, Ohio. Same class as Ohio freshman Jordan Wyckoff, who graduated from Watkins as well. She is not in the lineup today. I'm sure they had a good powwow before the game. Always fun to reunite with your former teammates at the D1 level.
Fouled back to the screen by McKee. 1-2, the count to her. Runners first and second, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning, runs needed for the Falcons who trail by 4. And again, good at bat for Ava McKee, who pops this one out of play.
I think the Bobcats will likely just stick with Miller the rest of this game for sure. I don't really think there's, unless she just gets absolutely shelled here in the next couple innings, I don't think there's any scenario where she gets pulled.
She's nearing in on 90 pitches. I would assume if it gets to 5-3 within a 2-run game, maybe you'd think about putting a fresh arm in, but she skips this one up to the plate. I was able to work skips in there. You like that? There you go, Skip Miller.
Yeah, Skip Miller.
Didn't even think about that when I said it.
Skip is just—it's pretty much the baseball name, or the baseball, the softball name.
It's such a cool name. Skip Miller. There are a lot of cool names for Ohio. There's cool ones to say. Always refreshing coming from hockey, where every name is fun, but difficult in certain varieties. Foul down the third baseline. Foul. Soft tapper. So still a 2-2 count. Heck of a fight for McKee. Miller's going to be probably closing in on 95 pitches after this at-bat is done, which is a lot through 5 complete, 115 for Mackenzie Kraftick, an efficient inning. In the top, this one popped out to the first baseman. It's Farmer, and Brenna Farmer puts it away and spins it over to the top of the 6th inning. Bowling Green again trailing by 4. 1 run for Ohio and Bowling Green each in the first inning. 2 runs for Ohio in the second and the fourth. That's how we got here. We'll take a step back for a second. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
It's time now to get a look at what's happening around the BGSU campus. On Tuesday, April 22nd, the Senior Toast Celebration takes place in the Lenhart Grand Ballroom. This is an event to celebrate Falcon graduates. Doors open at 5:15 and the toast starts at 6. Also coming up for seniors later on this month, it's the Alumni Mug Pickup. Graduates need to complete a survey that will be emailed to them in order to receive the mug. Pickup will take place at multiple events and locations throughout Senior Week. And coming up on April 23rd for all students, it's the Sunset Movie at the Doit. The fan-selected movie will start at 8 p.m. with pizza and games starting at 7. For a full list of events, visit events.bgsu.edu. I'm Nate. That's a look at what's happening around campus on Falcon Radio.
Back here at Missouri Field, Henry Costco, myself, Ben Korak, and Nate Henners back in the broadcast booth in Falcon Radio. Going to be in WBGU in about an hour or so when the second game starts. We'll have a broadcast on 88.1 WBGU. Nate Henners, thank you for board operating our game this game and board operating next game as well. You heard his promo a second ago, so you've actually heard his voice on his broadcast.
Yeah, that's nice that you always get those. The board operators never get enough love from us here at Falcon Media Sports Network. Nice to get his voice all on the radio there.
Yeah, they get the unrecognized job. First pitch from Kraftick.
You know,
still in the game.
I'm going to say Henners kind of has the better job compared to some of those workers who are down there on the field for us here today.
Tough day of weather, and Lucas Kleinmeyer is filming this game, and he's probably not having the greatest time doing so.
Yeah, with these slow innings, it can be tough.
Yeah.
As well.
1-1 with no outs in the top of the 6th inning. Off speed, left high to Emma Hoffner. Hoffner, the catcher. 2-hit game for her. 1 in the first, 1 in the 4th. Hoffner has reached base now in 6 of her last 8 games. Reached base in the vast majority of games this season, now up to 30 of her 39 games started. She still has not struck out since March 28th.
Wow.
A very long time.
That's impressive.
Lined on the third baseline foul. This Ohio team does not strike out a lot, especially with the players that are in the starting lineup. Just not too many total. 112 total strikeouts this season to 155 for opponents.
Yeah, second least in the MAC.
Yeah, a very impressive ratio for them. Just looking over their stats yesterday, you saw a lot of players. Now it's been like 6-7 games since their last strikeout. This one's lofted in the air behind second base to Hannah Hunt. Hannah Hunt, again, with trying to make a basket catch, can't hold on. The throw to second, and diving around the tag is the runner, Emma Hoffner. And she'll get to second base. 2 opportunities to get it out on that play for Bowling Green. Neither one of them capitalized on.
Yeah, Hannah Hunt, another tough play there at second base. Got under it, just wasn't. Yeah, it pretty much had it in her glove, just kind of fell out.
The last play, you give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
very tough play. That one was one that she probably should have made. And the throw to the inside part of the bag and a good diving slide by Hoffner to the outside part of the bag. And Kaufman missed the tag. So now runner on second, no outs.
6 errors now today for the Falcons. That's been a big difference between Bobcats and Falcons. Only 1 error for Ohio.
Yeah, they're most since that Kent State game earlier in the year that they won 9-7, but 8 in that game. They're actually closing in on that.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about the Ohio defense today, which is typically a job that a sign that they're doing their job well.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying their names too much.
Yeah, 957 fielding percentage, about middle of the pack in the MAC. 48 errors, one of the most numbers, but they make a lot of plays. This one fouled out of play for strike 2. 1-2 to Maddie Wilcox. Wilcox, the designated hitter, has one hit today. Reached on an error in the first inning, so she's 1 for 3 with an RBI.
Wilcox, 257 on the year. She's had a solid year, and I think solid is probably the word that you would use to describe this OU offense. 4th in the MAC in batting average, 4th in RBIs, 6th in slugging percentage, 5th in on-base percentage. So they do all things solid, and with their pitching staff, that's by far the best in the MAC.
I was just about to say, when you pair even decent offense with the best pitching staff in the MAC, it's a very good recipe for success. 235 batting average against for Ohio, an impressive mark. Kraftzig puts it inside, very close to Wilcox. She lets it go.
When you have pitching staff like this, it really helps you, especially in the MAC tournament when you're playing, a double elimination tournament. You're playing, 2 games, maybe double headers back-to-back days, potentially having those 3 pitchers that you can rely on at any given time and put on any given moment is just huge.
Well, and even if you're just somebody, as this one's line down the first base line, that is fair, just barely. Rounding third and coming home is Hoffner. Taking second is Wilcox. She's going to get an RBI double for her second hit of the game.
That one was right on the line, borderline call, and went the way of the Bobcats.
I think it was the right call.
I think so too.
Looked like it landed at the very least on the white line.
Yeah. I think it was pretty much just right on the line. So 6-1 now. 11 hits on the day for Ohio.
Yeah. Just a testament to the pitching of Ohio. Skip Miller, her 3.6 ERA, ranks 9th in the MAC. The other 2 starters for Ohio, Anna Wise, 1st in the MAC, and Mikey Liveling is 2nd in the MAC, both sub 2.4. Very impressive marks for the other 2 pitchers, and one of them we're going to see in the second game. Fouled down the third baseline foul.
Yeah, Anna Wise has come in. She's a freshman, 5'8", freshman from Broadview Heights, Ohio, and she came in and pretty much unknown and has been statistically the best pitcher, almost 90 innings. Under a 2.2 ERA is extremely impressive. That's the marks that a lot of elite, even Power 4 pitchers can't quite get to. So I think she'll be looking, potentially maybe making a move up in Division I after this year. Or she could elect to stay like Skip Miller has past 2 years. Never quite know.
0-2 pitch, slow rolling off speed. It was left high. Caught a strike with that on the last was Kraftzig. Izzy Wilson up to the plate with a runner on second. An error by Hannah Hunt put a runner on as the leadoff hitter in this inning, Emma Hoffner. And then a double by Wilcox scored her. 6-1, Ohio leads. Kraftzig 4 earned runs out of the 6 total given up. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks for 5 innings pitched, nearing in or almost at 130 total pitches thrown. Actually this is her 131st. Grounded to the second baseman, Hannah Hunt. Flips over to first to Taylor Barrett for out number 1. The runner on third base now.
Sacrifice is in play.
Yeah. And they've executed on it.
They have.
Already today.
How many is it? I believe it's 3 or 4.
3 or 4, yeah. A lot of sacrifice hits as well, 2 by CeCe Keidel. Actually, I believe she's got a true sacrifice, although 3 of her 4 balls put in play are sacrifices in some way. This one lined out into left field. That's going to score a run. And an RBI base hit for Abby Kennelly.
Yeah, 3 hits on the day now for her. She's kind of having a homecoming here. Attended Anthony Wayne High School, which is pretty much only about 20 minutes northwest of here. A lot of BG athletes have attended that high school.
She's been stranded on first base the last 2 times that she's got a hit. Also struck out swinging in the first inning. So hoping Kraftzig can do the same. Shelby Wessler takes the first pitch out and away for ball 1. Kind of broken this game open in the 6th inning. 5-1 is reasonable. But now Bowling Green's got 2 more at-bats to get 6 runs. Ground ball down third baseline foul. They're really getting the bat around on Kraftzig, starting to pull more balls, hit a little bit better contact. First couple of innings, it seemed like the ball was just out of reach of the Falcons, now pretty far out of the reach of Falcon defenders.
Yeah, I'm just not sure about the decision to leave Kraftzig in this late into the game, I think you could put Scarlett in last 2 innings and just let her get through them. Leaving Kravchuk in and just kind of letting her continue to get hit here in these late innings maybe isn't the best for her confidence.
Popped back and foul. 1-2. That or it's just playing devil's advocate here, learning opportunity for her to try and battle deep into games. You know, seeing the lineup the 4th time through now. And she's still been decently effective. I mean, has not had great defensive support. And if we were at a situation where, you know, Kravchuk's got 5 earned runs in her 5 1/3 innings pitched, if she gets out of this with 6 full innings pitched and 5 earned runs against a pretty good offensive team in Ohio, not a bad outing. The errors did not help her in certain aspects for sure. And there's a strikeout looking. She got at Shelby Wessler.
There's her 3rd strikeout of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, OU's gone on base in every single inning, gotten a hit in all but the 5th. And that's played to your point there. Kravchuk did have a very good 5th inning against the top of the lineup.
Didn't help that we had Hannah Hunt error.
Yeah.
As well, that prolonged that inning. That probably could have been 1-2-3, considering how certain things went. Bell Hummel takes strike 1. Would imagine at this point Kravchuk's just going to go the rest of the game unless they want to put Scarlett Anderson in to close it out. She's already in the lineup, so you wouldn't lose anything really, although you wouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
Hummel an 0-2 count now. She taps it foul. Here's the 0-2. 2 outs, runner on first, ground ball down the third base line, fielded by Addie Martin, but foul. A lot of foul balls from Ohio today. At least Morgan Beckham, sitting on the bench watching this game or in the bullpen, has seen a contact-driven Ohio team and hopefully has found a way to try and approach them, stay away from contact as much as possible. Kravchuk, low and away, just barely. For ball 1, a 1-2 count.
You see this sort of formation on the left side of the field again for the Falcons with Matthews in and Martin playing pretty much adjacent to Kravchuk in the circle against the slap hitter of Hummel.
Inside pitch and beautiful one by Kravchuk that has to be taken way ahead of by Hummel and slapped foul.
Yeah, Hummel dealt with injury last year, only had limited action at a batting average just at 200, but had a great 2023, hit 297, and that year, that was her junior year, or her freshman year, excuse me. This is her junior year this year.
Yeah, only does not have a hit today. Is the one of all of the players that have reached base, but is one of 2 players to not have a hit. Her and Kydell has had only 1 extra base hit since March 13th versus Stonehill. This year's an off-speed away 2-2 for Kravchuk. And she's got no extra base hits since March 28th versus NIU, which has been quite a long time. 3-20 in her last 8 games played, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts. It's all the production she's had. Ground ball to Addie Martin at third base. Routine play. Barrett puts it away at first. BG exits the inning with 2 runs given up and a 7-1 Ohio lead. The Bats are going to have to get going in the bottom of the 6th inning to get Bowling Green back in the game and able to compete with Ohio. Again, we're going to have our final talk about the Ziggy's Awards in this game in the middle of the 6th inning. Our topic now is our 6th award categories. Talked about male freshman of the year in the 2nd. Talked about female freshman of the year in the 4th. Talk about comeback performance of the year right now. Baseball versus Eastern Michigan. I believe, as far as my understanding is, that's one that references coming back as a program from being cut for a couple weeks to coming all the way back and winning a MAC championship. regular season MAC championship. An impressive comeback performance there. Christian Stover being one that I believe is based on injury. Also, just the numbers from last year to this year. I can tell you as a hockey beat that he was at around 3 goals allowed per game last year. He was somewhere in the realm of 1.5 with the best single season in BGSU goaltender history this year. And Lexi Fleming, who is Miss Bowling Green, to be honest, at this point. Everybody loves Lexi. Played very well this year, the heart of women's basketball. Henry, pretty good options there as well.
Yeah, I mean, just that little nugget that you pieced out about Stover being statistically one of the best players, one of the best goalies in
the best
BGSU hockey. Yeah,
best single season goalie. Yeah,
that does a lot for his case there. But I mean, the story for BGSU baseball is obviously huge too. Them only a few years ago they were not a program, and now under Kyle Halleck they've come in and just revitalized the program and done all sorts of great things at Stillwater Field as they will kick off the first pitch against Purdue Fort Wayne in about 4 minutes or so here.
At Purdue Fort Wayne. No broadcast from us. We'll keep you updated through the ending of this game and into our second game here at Missouri Field about Bowling Green versus Purdue Fort Wayne in Fort Wayne, Indiana. 7-1, Ohio leads. Bowling Green bats in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kendall Matthews watches one outside. 1-1 to count. Matthews, Massaro, and Steffes. The bottom 3 in the order again. Feels like some timely pitching from Skip Miller, considering she's led off with the bottom 3 in the order. Well, the bottom 2 in the order twice, and now the bottom 3 in the order a third time. Grounded down the third base line, fair. Extra bases for Kendall Matthews as she rounds first, heads to second. She'll be caught there, and a no-out double for Kendall Matthews as Bowling Green tries to get something going.
Nice for Matthews to get on the board there with that hit. She had that fly ball there in the third that maybe could have been a home run, would have been a home run if the wind wasn't so tough. Now finally gets revenge there with her double. That was on the ground this time. Maybe learned her lesson as far as hitting the ball in the air.
Yeah. She swung the bat very well today. One of the only hit today for Bowling Green out of the 6 that has not been from one of the top 3 hitters, Barrett, Martin, or Hunt. Massaro lays a bunt down on the first base line. Farmer picks, throws to first base, gets the out, and runner advances.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
I'm not sure about doing the sack bunt there. I mean, I understand it. It's the bottom of the lineup. You want to get the runner to third to put him, give him a better chance to score, but I mean, you're down 6.
I would argue 6 runs. You shouldn't be giving outs. I mean, as of right now, they're 5 outs away from completing a win, a 7-1 win, and even if you traded an out square for a run, just although bottom of the order, being the bottom of the order, that's an understandable reason to do it.
Not sure as OU's gonna gather and talk about getting Payne Steffes out here, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. I understand it, but you want to give. I feel like if you're Massaro, you want to have the opportunity to hit in that frame. I feel like for sure. So it's one of those situations, and especially with how, obviously, there's the chance that the sack bunt could end up with Massaro staying on first base, but with the way that the OU defense has played today.
Although Massaro has struggled at the plate. Yeah. And you're talking about a situation where she could have popped up to the infield, struck out. You didn't advance the runner at all. So I guess mainly a guarantee that you get the runner over in some capacity. Peyton Steffes with a 1-1 count, 1 out. Skip Miller trying to work her way out of a first pitch first at bat double in this inning. This pitch strike on the outside, 1-2 to Steffes, the lefty. Grounded out to the second baseman twice. Once in the second, once in the fourth. Now hits in the 6th.
Skip Miller, Week 8, MAC Pitcher of the Week. She's earned that award, I mean, just quite a few times, honestly, in her short career here, 3rd year at Ohio. Earned it once in 2024. Was co-pitcher of the week as well in that year. I mean, if you look at just her career here at OU, 3.33 ERA in her freshman year, 2.69. Her sophomore year, already thrown upwards of 500 innings she eclipsed in this outing in her career.
Almost a pass ball, but a good recovery by Hoffner to get the ball back. Steffes struck out swinging a second ago, now top of the order for Taylor Barrett. 5 hits in the top 3 in the order, so this is where you want the Falcons to be with a runner on third. Barrett's already got 2 hits in the first 2 innings, a fly out to the right fielder in the 4th. There's a good point, though. A very accomplished pitcher in Skip Miller. She misses outside 2-0.
Yeah,
I mean, even this year where she hasn't been as great, she's still been a dominant pitcher. It's just when you put it in the context of the 2 other pitchers on Ohio, that you take some of her dominance away.
Yeah, we've seen our share of all-time great MAC softball players here at Messer Field this year between Michaela Timmons and Ella Whitney coming to visit, and Ball State's kind of domination of Bowling Green here at this field.
Yeah.
Michaela Timmons is, I mean, maybe one of the best. I mean, when she came here and she played,
she's going to be Player of the Year.
Just her frame, her ability to play catcher, as well as being one of the fastest players in the MAC, being straight up the best offensive player in not just the conference, but one of the best in the entirety of Division I.
And respect to her for maintaining loyalty to her program as well, to stay with Ball State with how great of a player she is. 2-2 count to Taylor Barrett with 2 outs, runner on third base. 7-1, Ohio leads. Skip Miller gets lifted out in the air to left field. Under it is Wilson. Wilson puts it away, the first put out she's had today, and ends the bottom of the 6th inning. So it's going to be a hold effort for the Falcon pitcher in the top of the 7th, and then BG needs 6 to tie the game and keep fighting against Ohio. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song! I love these nachos. I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy! What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
BGSU Women's Track and Field heads out west to Azusa, California to participate in the Brian Clay Invitational from Wednesday, April 16th to Friday, April 18th. Falcon Media Sports Network sponsor Ross Day will have a recap on bgfalconmedia.com.
7-1, Ohio leads through 6 full frames of play, and Mackenzie Kraftik back on the mound for Bowling Green. She'll pitch to the top of the order, Lauren Uhas, Cece Kydell, and Brenna Farmer. Actually, she's pitched to the order for her 5th time through, Henry, and impressive that she's even still getting outs considering the amount of looks that Ohio has had against her. This one's lifted in the air deep to left field, ranging back as Matthews to try and make the catch. It falls at the warning track. Matthews will get it in, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Lauren Uhas.
Great contact. I mean, Uhas just continues to be all over Krafschick.
Yeah.
I mean, just impressive player having an impressive day.
3 for 4 now. 2 runs, 1 walk, 3 stolen bases.
That's not a good start for Krafschick because 7th inning now and mercy rule isn't going to be in effect. They can score as many runs in this frame as they want and still have
no
another
mercy
inning
rule
to play. Or at the bottom of the frame to play.
And not to mention the Falcons' job now, hold them off in the top and score as many as you can in the bottom. And you're already in position where one swing puts another run on the board for Ohio. 1 run in the first for either side. That was the only run for Bowling Green. And then 2 runs in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th. So they've come in pairs when they've come. And you've got Cece Kydell now at the plate. Sacrifice hit in the 1st, sacrifice bunt in the 4th, a sacrifice fly in the 5th. One of those moved runners over. 2 of them got RBIs. One of them got RBIs. 2 of them moved runners over. And then she also lined out to the third baseman in the 2nd. Bunt down the third base line is foul. So that's going to be the first strike. 2-0 bunt, an odd situation, although Martin was playing somewhat back.
I guess they're trying to move the runner over here in this case, although Kydell is an extremely efficient hitter. Hasn't had the day, which is, I guess, a fair case. 0 for 4 with an RBI ground out in the 1st.
Flashes bunt again. looked to be a very good pitch, but left low apparently for ball 3. 3-1 count for Kravtsik. No goings on in the bullpen. I would imagine they're just going to ride with Kravtsik through the rest of this game.
For sure.
But no telling. Ball high. Lost the runner. Not the worst thing in the world as she takes first base, but there's a force at all bags now for Brenna Farmer, who's lifted in the air all 3 times she's hit today.
All 4 times, yeah.
Or all 4 times, yeah.
Yeah, line drive single in the first. Fly out, sack, two sack flies. 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and then a line out to shortstop in the 5th.
Yeah, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs.
Pitching change.
1 left on base, and they are going to go to Scarlett Anderson. Anderson in the order. Now she will pitch the battery with Ava McKee now. Kravtsik, we can close the book on her. 6 innings pitched, no runs taken, or no outs taken in the 7th inning. 5 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 13 hits, and 151 total pitches. I mean, when you put into context how well Ohio has hit all year, when you put into context the weather conditions she battled with today, not a bad outing for Mackenzie Kravtsik.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that we kind of expected this from OU, but we did kind of expect OU to come in here to Messer Field and show why they are, the second best team right now in the MAC and one of the favorites to win the MAC championship this year. Offense is deep. All 9 hitters have the ability to get multiple hits in this game, and we've seen that. And, I mean, Kravtsik has been consistent all year, and honestly, damage control was pretty impressive, I think, especially in the first couple innings. She held on there for a while before OU just finally kind of broke through after they got maybe to the 3rd time through the lineup. So
yeah. And not to mention she was left out there. I don't want to say left out to dry, but she was left out there a little bit longer than you might expect normally. Don't necessarily disagree with the decision from Gardner, but it was a decision nonetheless, and she got a couple more earned runs from it. 7 total runs given up, but only 5 earned. So right now we're looking at a pretty reasonable game. I mean, we are right now still a 7-1, but a 5-1 game. That's reasonable.
And I mean, you can't just sit here and say that it made a difference because did BG score any more runs, after that first run in the first? No.
Yeah.
So.
And it's looking like whether it was a 2-1 game or a 7-1 game, the outcome might be the same, depending on how the bottom of the 7th goes. Scarlett Anderson up to pitch now for Bowling Green, and she'll deal to Brenna Farmer, who, again, we mentioned 2 sacrifices and only 1 unproductive out today. She takes first pitch low and away. Anderson, her last 2 appearances, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 7 earned runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a double given up. So hitting today has hit the last couple of games. Next pitch, strike 1-1.
Yeah, Scarlett was kind of the non-conference queen earlier in the year. Played a lot of leverage there in those early season tournaments. Was really easily the innings leader heading into MAC play.
Yeah, when we started MAC play, we were talking about how Kravtsik and Anderson were the 1-2.
And I mean, Kravtsik still has, or Anderson, excuse me, is still pitching well. ERA still under 4 at 3.84.
Yeah, just has not. She's started 1 game since March 18th against Green Bay, and that was March 21st against Kent State. Gave up 1 run. This one's lifted out in the air to center field, Massaro under it. She's going to have to play the runner, tagging at second, but there's no tag. She was taken in almost to the infield by that fly ball as the wind continues to kill him. First out of the inning with the runners on first and second, bringing up Emma Hoffner, who's been an offensive force today.
Yeah, 2 hits. She reached base in the 6th off an E4 from Hannah Hunt. But, I mean, Massaro really had to move on that fly ball. Even the easiest cans of corn out there in the outfield are tricky.
Yeah, they're falling off the shelf for sure.
I like that. I like that phrase.
Can of corn falling off the shelf.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Yeah, I just made that up. I've heard can of corn.
I've heard driving off the hill.
Yeah. Anderson inherits 2 runners. It's a next pitch low, 1-1. The count with 1 out. So she's got to work out of some trouble. BG's got to get the bats warm as well. They've got Martin, Hunt, and Kaufman coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. So the meat of the order, but the offensive production hasn't been there, and none since the first inning. Anderson, the 1-1, off speed, put it waist high for strike 2.
Saw some sun here and there throughout the first couple innings, but clouds have receded fully back in here, and kind of a dreary look to the field right now sets the mood for how the Falcons have performed here in this one.
Line drive past the shortstop, Cam Kaufman, rounding third and heading home is Lauren Uhas. She'll score. Kydell will advance to second, and it'll be an RBI single for Emma Hoffner, her third hit of the day.
Another RBI. That one snuck through the hole there between Kaufman and Martin. Still one down. Double play is still in order with runners on first and second.
Well, that run will be, assuming, given to Kraftsik, so up to 6 earned runs and 8 total runs given up. 8-1 Ohio leads. This one lifted in the air, deep left field. Kendall Matthews tracking back, tried to make the catch, but it just falls into the corner of the white line in the foul pole. Rounding third, coming home is Kydell, and he'll score a run. And it's going to be a single to the wall.
Yeah, that's a long single. That was a good
score
job.
A run.
Good job by Matthews getting that one in quickly. She almost got to that one right by the left field foul line, just wasn't quite able to get there.
Yeah, back-to-back launches for the Bobcats, one by Hoffner, one by Wilcox. Now Izzy Wilson, who's got a hit, which for her has been coming few and far between. Now a try for third. The tag from Martin is late. Skipped up to McKee. And the runners take advantage and advance to second and third. Still with one out.
Good old classic double steal on the drop ball from McKee. Hoffner and Wilcox at advance.
Now gives this one a ride into center field. Hannah Massaro under it. She'll throw home, and no, it'll be cut off by Barrett, standing on the pitcher's circle. And that'll get a run in. Sacrifice fly for Izzy Wilson.
Another sac fly for the Bobcats. That's really been the story of their offense. That's where they've gone. Pretty much half of their production has come from sacrifices this game.
At this juncture in the game is completely fine, because the sacrifices have given you a 10-1 lead, and you'll trade the out for the run. 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning on 3 hits and the sacrifice.
It's when they've gotten runners in scoring position at pretty much at will today, although, they've gotten those runs in, but they've also had 11 left on base. So keep that in mind.
BG's also got 9, but only 1 run scored.
Yeah.
So far less offensive production today. High fastball lost for 2-0.
15 hits now for OU compared to only 6 on the day for Bowling Green.
Abby Kennelly, the shortstop, is 3 for today. Shelby Westler on deck. Bell Hummel in the hole. First strike of the at-bat, 2-1 on an off-speed put in the zone on the inside.
Kennelly looking for 4th single, and as many at-bats struck out in the first, but since then, single in the 3rd, single in the 4th, and single in the 6th.
2-1, offering from Anderson. Slapped over to the third baseman, Martin, and Martin will just drop it on the circle. And it'll do it for the top of the 7th inning. 9 runs of work to do for Bowling Green if they want to force extras against the MACFO Ohio. And we're bringing up Addie Martin, Hannah Hunt, and Cam Kaufman in the bottom of the 7th inning. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
This past weekend, BG women's golf team won the BG-hosted Dolores Black Falcon Invitational at Stone Ridge Golf Club. The squad finished with a team score of 18 over par, which was 17 strokes better than the second-place squad of Central Michigan. This is the first time this squad has placed first in a tournament this season and marks the Falcons' first win in the Dolores Invitational since 2022. Sammy Dulce, Ava O'Sullivan, and Macy Elzinga all finished in the top 10 for the Orange and Brown, with Dulce placing 2nd, O'Sullivan in 4th, and Elzinga in 6th. Next up, the Falcons take on Toledo in a battle of I-75. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Martin, Hunt, and Kaufman in the bottom of the 7th inning need a lot of runs if you're Bowling Green. 9 to tie, 10 to win in the bottom of the 7th, at risk of dropping another MAC game, this one to Ohio in their first of a doubleheader. Second game, 30 minutes after the end of this on WBGU 88.1 FM. Our board operator, Nate Henners, is going to have to change studios, and we'll be in the same place.
Fortunate to be in this place here today and safe
with the
in the
win.
press box.
First pitch inside for a ball.
Just looking at playoff picture, Falcons will fall to 7-10. Just keep in mind they're competing basically with NIU and Akron for one of those final playoff spots with Ball State. Ball State 11-5 in 4th, Akron in 5th. That's 7-6.
Addy slices a pitch into the screen, 1-1. Very tight in the middle of the MAC.
Yeah, we're gonna
a lot of different ways that it can go. Although Bowling Green certainly, with one of the tougher schedules, having to play Ohio today, Miami, Central Michigan, and then their rival in Toledo, who's also battling for that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Toledo has had a tough schedule to begin the year. They'll probably surge here as they got Eli Enriquez back a couple of weeks ago, their main offensive power. Toledo leads Central Michigan right now in the top of the 6th. 7-3 zones off the
2-1 pitch, popped foul.
Big win for Akron. Beat Miami 3-2 on the road at Oxford in 9 innings. That's a good game there. They'll play one more at 3 o'clock. Central Michigan Toledo will play one more as well today.
Akron and Toledo, very, very underrated teams. Toledo especially, I think, because they had that tough schedule. I mean, they're batting nearly 300 as a team. This one, strike 3, caught looking again. Addie Martin, that's her second strikeout of the game, looking. It's not the way to start a large comeback that you need.
5 strikeouts on the day for Skip Miller. Toledo won 2 of 3 against OU in the last series, but they got swept by Miami. They lost 2 of 3 to Akron, lost 2 of 3 to Ball State, lost 2 of 3 to Western. So they've had a rough go early on, but looking at their next schedule, they play 3 against BG. They're at Buffalo for 3. They're at Kent for 2, and then they end off at home against NIU. So that's a very nice schedule for them after they got done with Central. That's a team to watch for sure. Hunt take the surge.
Hunt takes a pitch inside. Their starting pitcher, Sophia Knight, very good pitcher, but they're bolstered a lot on just team depth, as we mentioned, for Ohio. Just great hitters, 1 through 9. They're doing the same. No really standout star, I'd say, for Toledo and the games that I've watched, but their pitcher, Sophia Knight, is very formidable. As like a lot of MAC teams, they have that one pitcher that's just very good. And if you're Ohio, you have 3. 2-0 count to Hannah Hunt is left high.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about Central Michigan has been kind of the overachiever of the group this year. They're 11-4 right now. They weren't predicted to be up as high as they were, although they were predicted to be in contention for that tournament spot. They play 2 at home against BG, and then they have 2 against OU and 2 against Ball State after their 2 against Toledo today.
Skip Miller loses the batter, Hannah Hunt. She'll take first base. It's her 4th time reaching today. She has not recorded an out. A hit in the 1st and the 5th, a walk in the 2nd and the 7th. So her on-base percentage is going to take a bump. Her batting average as well. She's going to take a big lead over Addie Martin in that category to be number 1 on the team. And Cam Kaufman will step to the plate with, she's due for something. Reached base twice today, once on an error, once on a hit by pitch. Has not had a hit yet today. Has had only a couple since she's been back. She's another player for Bowling Green that really needs to get going.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because she was going before her injury after right at the end of non-conference play before MAC play started.
I believe that's 10. That was 10 to at least 10 10. I'm having trouble with this. 10 games with double-digit hits.
There you go.
For Hannah Hunt. This is her 11th now of the year. Finally got it.
Yeah, keeping the hit streak going. She's the only Falcon to have a hit streak now up to 8 games from April 1st to now. The last 7 games played during her other streak, 9 for 20, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, 2 doubles, a walk, and a stolen base. Rare stolen base for Hannah Hunt. She sits on first right now. Cam Kaufman with a 1-1 count. Miller delivers low and away for ball 2.
Kaufman got her first career home run over the weekend. Love to get that again here, although we haven't seen a home run yet in this game from either team.
2-1 pitch inside. Miller's losing the zone a little bit, and that's not too scary for Ohio, but it's a little bit scary for her considering her stats could dwindle. We saw that with Ella Whitney against Ball State, which I think is very comparable, that she was left in. I mean, in a 10-1 game, there's no reason to pull her until it gets down to the last 2 runs or so. It's inside. She lost. Oh,
man.
Wow.
That one was right on the line. It looked like it was pretty much in the Bears' box.
Umpire just gave her one back to make it a full count. Kaufman could have got bailed out there with a rough couple of games at the plate and didn't get the call. Here's the payoff pitch from Miller. Grounded on the third baseline foul. Kaufman will stay alive.
Miller up near 120 pitches in this game. I mean, I don't think she's probably too worried about statistics. As a college player, you're taught, don't worry about your own statistics. Just worry about, what's best for the team, what's best for the team in this case is her just finishing out the game regardless.
And strikeout looking, Cam Kaufman.
What a pitch.
That was a beautiful pitch. Although you look back to that called strike on the 3-1 count. Could have gave her first base, turned the whole bat around. And again, Miller, just that ability to live on the inside part of the plate with both off-speed and fastball, devastating for Bowling Green. That's, I believe, her 6th strikeout of the game. Certainly impressive. Scarlett Anderson, now the pitcher of record, fouls back to the screen on the first offering. Runner on first base, 2 outs. It'll have to be a 9-run, 2-out rally for Bowling Green to get back into the game.
Miller's career high or season high in strikeouts is 7. She's done that 3 times this year. High volume strikeout pitcher.
Hard fastball for Miller, waist high, strike 2.
A lot of her outings where she struggles are the outings where she just doesn't get those strikeouts. I mean, only two again, both games against Toledo. Obviously, one of those was a fantastic outing. One of those was her worst outing of the year. So take that with a grain of salt.
0-2 pitch, swing and a miss on the inside. That'll retire Scarlett Anderson, and the side for Bowling Green is Skip Miller. Gets a 10-1 win over the Falcons in the first of the doubleheader between Bowling Green and Ohio. An impressive outing for Ohio when it comes to the bats, Henry. When it comes to the pitching as well from Skip Miller, allowing only 1 run in the first inning and pretty much perfect on the scoreboard since. Impressive all around from this very good Ohio team.
Yeah, Skip had some trouble here and there in the first couple innings, but settled in the third, had back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. And then since after that, it was pretty much over from there. So very good outing from Skip Miller. I'm sure head coach Jenna Hall will be happy with performance there, as you see Skip Miller smiling with teammates down there as they'll await game 2. Lauren Uhas, I think, is the player to highlight for OU. She was all over the place defensively as well as on the base pass. 3 hits, a double, a walk, 3 stolen bases on the day, which is pretty impressive. 4 Bobcats with 3 hits on the day. Hoffner, Wilcox, and Kennelly also had 3 hits. All but 2 Bobcats had hits on the day, but all of them reached at least with a walk or an error. So, I mean, pretty much as good of an offensive day as you can ask for the Bobcats.
Falcons a little bit of lack thereof. 5 of their 6 hits coming from either Taylor Barrett, Hannah Hunt, or Addie Martin. Martin with a little bit of struggles, 2 strikeouts, although she had 1 hit in her 4 at-bats, had a stolen base as well. Hannah Hunt 2 for 2, 2 walks. Taylor Barrett 2 for 4 with a run and 1 runner left on base. 10 total runners left on base for Bowling Green. Now, granted, wouldn't have made too much of a difference unless you scored every single one of them, but still, that's 10 runners left on base for Bowling Green. Mackenzie Krafchick, 6 full innings pitched, 7 earned runs, 9 runs total given up, 13 hits, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 151 total pitches thrown. Scarlett Anderson came in relief with runners on first and second and no outs, and ended up working her way into 1 earned run on 2 hits, 15 total pitches for her. Gave some runs back to Krafchick, 2 runs given up to Mackenzie Krafchick, and Scarlett Anderson inherited those runners. And Skip Miller, 7 innings pitched, no earned runs, 1 run total given up, 6 hits, 128 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a good rebound from a little bit of a poor outing against University of Toledo. Henry, things you want to see from Bowling Green going from this game into the next game to be able to take off a win against Ohio?
Well, the performance for whoever ends up starting in Game 2, I think it's likely to be Morgan Beckham is going to be key in terms of just getting through those first few innings scoreless and giving the Falcons a chance late in this game, which they didn't really have a chance late in this one in Game 1. And the other part is just going to be cleaning up those errors, 6 for Bowling Green, which if you have 6 errors in a game, it's really not going to be a good recipe for victory. So just cleaning up those errors and maybe getting used to the wind a little bit in Game 2.
Cleaner play, get some offense going. The Falcons will play Ohio Bobcats again in about 30 minutes or so. We'll be back on the air on WBGU 88.1 FM. Our board operator, Nate Henners, Henry Costco, myself, Ben Korak. We'll talk to you then. Tune in to WBGU 88.1 FM for the second leg of BGSU softball. And you listened on Falcon Radio.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.